This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. We've got a championship series doubleheader on ESPN Radio. First, starting at 4:30 Eastern, Game 3 of the NLCS with the Phillies up 2-0 on the Diamondbacks. Then at 7:30 Eastern, Game 4 of the ALCS with the Rangers now leading the Astros 2-1. Jaguars and Saints open up Week 7 in the NFL tonight at the Superdome. On Sunday night, the Eagles host the Dolphins. Both teams 5-1. And ESPN's Damian Woody says this is the toughest test yet for Miami.
Philadelphia Eagles have a really good front, defensive front. I'm assuming that Jalen Carter's going to be back this week. That is a huge add to that Philadelphia Eagles front. If Miami deals with that Philadelphia Eagles front, if Mike McDaniel somehow neutralizes that front, count me all in on the Miami Dolphins.
Damian Woody on Greeny. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson back on the practice field today after missing the last 2 games with a strained right rotator cuff. No word yet if he'll play Sunday against the Colts.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, I'll tell you what I need to see from my Ravens before I say they're Super Bowl contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We are live at the Slattery Room at Mockler Beverage in Baton Rouge. Fired up to be here. Our AFR listener watch party for Thursday Night Football is going down right here tonight. So we're fired up to be here. We appreciate our friends at Mockler for being so kind and generous and opening their doors to us here in this awesome place to be able to host some listeners and to watch Thursday Night Football and hopefully see the Hoodats get a win. We got a lot to do today, so we're glad you're hanging out with us here. Ryan Clark in Hour 3, along with Christian LaCouture, who will be on site with us here, be hanging out for some of the game tonight. Army head coach Jeff Monken, a little more than an hour from right now. We're going to head to NOLA in 15 minutes. Our buddy Sean Fazende from Fox 8 is going to join us. We'll get the absolute latest from down in New Orleans. Here's what we, just very quickly, and of course our show Open Every Day is brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, our friends right here at Mockler Beverage who are hosting us here tonight. And by the way, Jaden Daniels was on with Fine Bomb. Let's hear some of what Jaden had to say. The latest that we had on Trevor Lawrence came from Adam Schefter about 3 hours ago. And as I'm sitting here at the Slattery Room looking at this giant TV on the wall, Ed Werder is on ESPN. Trevor Lawrence expected to play tonight against the Saints. So Schefter said Doug Peterson told Ed Werder he expects he expects Trevor Lawrence to start against the Saints pending the pregame workout. Improvement in that left knee sprain. It was hurt at the end of the game this past Sunday against the Colts, so something we've talked about all week. Keep in mind, it's the turnaround. I know that all week, and we talked about it earlier on the show yesterday, C.J. Beathard, we let you hear the sound from C.J. Beathard, the backup in Jacksonville. Beathard took all the snaps for the first team, was preparing to play in the event that he needed to. But I'll remind you, the Saints went through this just a couple of weeks ago when Derek Carr had this sprained AC joint in his shoulder, and Jameis took all the reps with the one, and we all expected that Jameis was going to play. And as the week went on, Carr improved and went out there and started and has played ever since. So I don't think it's a gigantic surprise. I think that Lawrence is going to try to give it a go. I think the bigger question in this game tonight with respect to Lawrence is how effective can he be? The Jaguars are down 2 starting offensive linemen, as are the New Orleans Saints, which we'll get to that here in a second. But the Jags are down 2 starting offensive linemen, and the Saints front has been active and pretty good this year. Carl Granderson's been a monster. can Jacksonville protect Trevor Lawrence? That's the big question. That's something that we'll see as the game starts to unfold and play out. On the flip side, for the New Orleans Saints, the big story, of course, has been the injury report that we've looked at, in particular with the offensive line, knowing that Ryan Ramczyk is out for this game. James Hurst is out for this game. So the question that we had was, what were the Saints going to do on the offensive line? Do you put Trevor Penning back in at left tackle? Does Andres Pete slide to left tackle? Cesar Ruiz played right tackle last week whenever Ramczyk was injured, and then Nick Saldiveri went in. Max Garcia played. So it's a bit of a jumble. I want to remind you, Wednesday, so 24 hours ago, Mike Triplett was with us, and this is before we knew all of the ins and outs here. I asked Mike what the Saints might do with the offensive line. This was Mike's prediction 24 hours ago. Give a listen.
Cam Erving makes the most sense as right tackle. He's played a lot of games there. And then I would say either Penning left tackle, Pete left guard, or Pete left tackle, Garcia left guard.
And not sure if you've noticed, but Mike kind of nailed it. We are expecting that Cam Erving is going to be elevated from the practice squad to start at right tackle, and that Andres Pete will replace Hurst at left tackle. So a couple of former first-round draft picks who were left tackles in college. Pete was the left tackle at Stanford. We've talked about Cam Erving, who was a left tackle for Jameis Winston at Florida State, a guy who's played a ton of football. He's played both tackle positions, guard. So, look, I mean, I referenced Justin Pugh, who on Sunday Night Football introduced himself as Justin Pugh straight off the couch because he was literally just at home. Got called from the Giants because of injury, slid in at left guard, you had an injury to your left tackle, and just like that, Justin Pugh's playing left tackle on Sunday Night Football. Something similar here for Cam Erving, although he's had a little bit more runway here. I told you when the Saints signed Cam Erving that I liked that signing, that it made sense. A guy that's versatile, he's a tackle, he's a guard, he can play either side of the line. Athletic, yes, he's up in age, but a former first-round pick. They were actually, Andres Pete and Cam Erving were taken in the same draft, 6 picks apart. So these guys have followed a similar trajectory, college left tackles that have more so played right tackle or guard in the NFL. So looks like that's what the Saints are going to do. Some shuffling here for Thursday Night Football on the short week. All right. It is after further review. We are here at the Slattery Room at Mockler Beverage. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Always love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. I didn't even realize this was a thing, but you can get, I had to get my oil change today in my Crossport. You realize you can go 10,000 miles now without getting your oil change? I had no idea they actually do that. Did you know that? I didn't know that. But sure enough, you can go 10,000 miles without getting your oil change. So anyway, great German engineering without the cost. All the safety features, the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost, and manufactured right here in the U.S. of A. at their Tennessee plant. It is South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all. We are gonna head down and visit with Sean Fazende here in about 7 minutes. Sean will be covering the game tonight for Fox 8. We always appreciate Sean. We get a couple of minutes of him from him. So we'll get a look in here on Saints and Jags. LSU, meanwhile, is getting ready to take on Army in Tiger Stadium. We got Jeff Monken, the Army head coach, coming up next hour. But Jaden Daniels is starting to get some national shine, which is really good to see. I think sometimes we exist in our own bubble. I saw yesterday, can't remember if it was the ESPN Twitter account or the SportsCenter Twitter account. It was one of them, but it was an official account from either ESPN or SportsCenter. And they put a poll question up, and not scientific, of course, but I'm just telling you the story. You'll understand when I tell it to you. But they put a poll question up and said, who would get your vote for the Heisman Trophy today? And they listed 4 candidates. Here it was from SportsCenter. They listed 4 candidates: Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, Michael Penix from Washington, Jordan Travis from Florida State. And I quote tweeted and said, other Jaden Daniels. But the point being that even SportsCenter's Twitter account didn't have Jaden Daniels among the top 4 in their poll there. Again, very, very informal, but sometimes it just speaks to the psychology and the mindset of where people are. For what it's worth, it's not completely wrong, because even if you look at DraftKings, our friends at DraftKings, Jayden Daniels has the 5th best odds. Penix, McCarthy, Dylan Gabriel, Jordan Travis. They're the top 4 odds, and then Jayden's 5. We've talked about how this will evolve, but a big part of that, it's unfortunate, but it's true, when it comes to the Heisman Trophy, is you have to have some kind of a marketing campaign around it. You've got to get public sentiment and buzz and conversation. So the fact that you're starting to hear some of that conversation around Jayden Daniels is encouraging. Now, he's got to go take care of it on the field for the next 5 games. He'll have a great opportunity on Saturday against an Army defense that's really struggled. But, Jayden was talking to Feinbaum, and, he asked, what's the biggest difference from LSU's offense a year ago to right now when you're on this record pace? Here's what Daniel said.
Another year in the system helps out a lot. Obviously, we're going out there and we're excited to play. Me being able to just throw the ball to the receivers and they can create explosive plays, be accurate, and, just the running game that we have, the O-line, the camaraderie we have, everybody coming back and, everybody familiar with each other, familiar with the staff, helped out a lot this offseason and on Saturdays too.
Paul did ask Jayden one more, Muse, if we could. This is number 6. Paul did ask Jayden about being considered a Heisman candidate.
It's just an honor to be able to be considered in a prestigious award, honestly. That's something when I grew up that, you watch the Cam Newtons and, the RG3, Lamar Jacksons, Johnny Manziel, those guys win that award. And, as a little kid, you want to win that award too at some point. So, I'm blessed that I'm able to be a part of that conversation. Just got to finish the season strong and let the cards play out.
How about the perspective of Jayden Daniels saying when he was a little kid watching Cam Newton, RG3, and Johnny Manziel win the Heisman when he was a little kid? Perspective that these are still young people. But we'll hear much more from Jayden Daniels as we move throughout the show today. And Brian Kelly is expected to meet with the media a little more than an hour from right now. So anything that BK notes during his final media availability before LSU and Army, we'll get to that later in the show. Okay, quick break. We're here at the Slattery Room, Mockler Beverage, our great partners here. We're so thankful to them for opening up this awesome facility to us today for our AFR listener watch party. Ryan Phillips, our winner, will be here with about a dozen or so of his best friends. We'll be eating and drinking and watching Thursday Night Football and looking forward to a great night. Let me knock out a quick break. Sean Fazende joins us from New Orleans. When we come back next, it is a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Don't you move.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV tonight and every Thursday. All-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. What more in the world could you possibly want? That's at Pluckers. Of course, every single Thursday night at Pluckers, it's all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. You got Thursday Night Football, NFL tonight. You've got, of course, college football tonight as well, and 2 MLB playoff games. One of them about to get underway in less than an hour from right now. So why would you go anywhere else? Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV, and every Thursday at Pluckers, it's all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. So dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Uber Eats, or DoorDash. Remember our friends over at Pluckers. All football season long, it's Pluckers. Remember, at Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always custom.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
All right, glad to have you aboard with us here on a here, Bo. On a Thursday edition of AFR. Apologies. There's we don't go on remote, obviously, very, very often. But you're gonna have to talk to him offline too, please. We made a change recently where we now call our guests on site. So anyway, forgot that. So we'll call Sean right now. Saints and Jags Thursday night football tonight. If you're playing, if you're sports betting the game, a lot of action on the under in this game tonight. Total is 40. I can actually check to see if it's bumped up at all, but a lot of action, a lot of sharp money on the under in this ball game tonight. Unders have been pretty popular in the NFL as offense has struggled of late, but especially in a game where the Saints have struggled and Jacksonville will be either without a starting quarterback or with a limited starting quarterback. All right, let's head down. Our buddy Sean Fazende, Fox 8 New Orleans, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Sean, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just got inside the Superdome here. Just get ready for some preview action, and then obviously the game at 7:15 tonight.
Hey, man. First of all, could you set the scene for us around the city? I mean, so you and I talk so often on these primetime games during the middle of the week, and the CBD really shuts down a lot on Saints game days. I'm curious what it was like driving in today.
Earlier today, and I'm a little bit early from kickoff here, but earlier today, didn't really see a whole lot in terms of traffic and whatnot. It just seemed like they know the game's coming. They're expecting to sell out. But I don't know. There seems to be a little bit of a kind of a nervous energy in the fan base right now just because I think they understand the situation that the Saints are in and how things have gone the last couple of weeks. So I have no doubt they'll be here in droves when it's time. But the earlier day was not quite as rowdy as it might have been.
You're around the franchise and have been for a long time. This might be an obvious answer, but to what do you attribute that sort of nervous and energy, that feeling around the fan base and around the city right now?
I mean, the way they played. I mean, it's been so up and down. It's been It's been just sort of just look at it: win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. It's just they're not quite sure what to make of this team, as everyone's kind of in that same boat. They're not quite sure what to make of this team, and they're not sure how good is this team. And I think that's a lot of people have the same questions right now, and that's just it's a smart fan base. I mean, they understand. So that's you kind of get that stillness, if you will, before a big game where, look, the outcome this one could really set things up for, what could happen over the next couple of weeks. So it's an interesting dynamic as they head into Thursday Night Football.
John, it looks as though that Cam Irving is going to start at right tackle and Andrews Pete's going to start at left. What do you make of what the Saints are going to do on the offensive line tonight?
I'd say that's something, isn't it? I mean, your former first-round pick that was starting up until a couple of games ago is available, and they decided to go with Andrews Pete, who hadn't started at left tackle. I can't think of the last game he started at left tackle. It has been that long. And he's been around here for a while. So they're going Andrews Pete, who's coming off an injury himself, would likely be Max Garcia at left guard, and then Cam Irving at right tackle, a player that obviously they signed a couple of weeks ago, but will be making his Saints debut here tonight. Look, the offensive line has certainly been an issue, and now you're dealing with the injuries at the offensive line, and now you're bringing in, I guess you could call it 3 different players when you talk about Pete going to left tackle, a different left guard, and a different right tackle in a game you kind of have to have. So that's going to make for an interesting storyline as we get into the kickoff here.
Sean Fazende's with us, Fox 8 in New Orleans. They're in the Superdome. Hey, Sean, what's the latest on Demario Davis, and do you have any idea of when we'll have a definitive answer if he goes tonight?
I haven't heard anything yet. I've been checking in on that, but obviously the game time decision. We'll be getting closer and closer to kickoff. Probably would do a pregame workout like they normally do just to get an idea of where he's at, with that knee situation. I know he was present at practice yesterday. That's certainly an encouraging sign, but for Dennis Allen to come out and say he's a game time decision, clearly the decision had not been made at that point, and they're not sure. And let me tell you something. Demario Davis is a warrior. So for him to be on the brink of not playing a game, that really is something. And if, he can't go, the likelihood of a guy like Jalen Smith stepping up will probably be the situation they're in because they just elevated him from the practice squad with that standard elevation. So maybe that kind of tells you all you need to know that, they did the elevation with him, and we'll see what happens with Demario. It's still a big if. And I know, look, if he can go, he's going to go. But if he can't, obviously they would have to turn to another player. And look, the defense, short of a couple spurts here, has played really, really well and obviously kept them in a lot of games. So that's something to really watch as well. I mean, I hope you're keeping track of all the things we're really watching tonight because there's a lot of things happening that obviously don't work in the Saints' favor.
Yeah, Sean, it's amazing. Demario's never missed a game in his career due to injury. He missed one game in the COVID year, or in 21 due to the COVID protocol, but he's never missed a game in his career due to injury, it speaks to what you're saying there about his durability and giving it a go. So we'll see what happens. Flip it over, though, Sean. Trevor Lawrence right now, all the reports are that he's going to give it a go. We'll see how effective he might be. What is Trevor Lawrence's maybe a limited ability mean for the Saints defense tonight?
Well, I think most of all, he's a guy that can move around. He makes some, generational type throws. He's a guy that can move around and not just move around to make another pass, move around to run as well, where he can, beat you downfield with his legs, and now he can obviously buy time with his legs as well. So if he's limited with a knee sprain or a knee brace, certainly that will work in the Saints' favor because we've seen in years past just how much mobility at the quarterback position has kind of been the Saints' defense's kryptonite, if you will. So we'll see where he's at from a mobility standpoint. That's the biggest thing that jumps out. If he's not 100%, he doesn't have quite the mobility he once had or usually has, that could be something that works in the Saints' favor.
Sean Fazende's with us on Twitter at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Y'all give him a follow. Saints and Jags tonight, Thursday Night Football. Sean, anything else personnel-wise that is significant for this game for New Orleans that we haven't touched on yet?
I think we touched on the offensive line. We touched on Demario Davis. I tell you another one that's probably not getting talked about enough. The activation of Jamal Williams, having him and Alvin Kamara back on the field together for the first time. I think that's a sneaky one, Matt, because I think they're going to have to run the football tonight. And I think he's a steady veteran, maybe complements the style of Alvin Kamara a little bit better than the young rookie who's still kind of finding his way. I like the fact that he's able to go tonight because I think that could be a nice 1-2 punch and maybe help things out offensively that's been struggling.
Hey, just last thing for you, Sean, and we appreciate you, man, especially on a game day. I know you're busy and being pulled in a lot of directions, but big picture, how important is it for the Saints? Look, I mean, obviously you're not in a must-win situation. You're 3-3, but I mean, just where we started, you talking about how there's a lot of angst around this franchise right now, which is obvious. How important, put into context, do you feel this game is tonight?
Well, I think it's very important. Here's why: because the outcome really could set things up. Because if you win, you're 4-3, and you could very well be, as bad as it's felt, if you're 4-3, there's a chance you could be atop the NFC South by the end of the weekend. But if you fall, you're 3-4, you could be, a game and a half back out of the NFC South, and then, that would be losing 4 of your last 5. That certainly would not be a good thing. And then with the mini bye, who knows if there could be some accountability coming, whether it be player-wise, roster-wise, or coaching staff-wise. So I think this is a huge, huge game tonight. It's one of those games where it kind of feels like the season kind of veer in two different directions. So I think it's a big one tonight for the Saints.
He is Sean Fazende, Fox 8 on Twitter, at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Be sure to give him a follow. Sean, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
All right, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Be well. That is Sean Fazende. This is After Further Review, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We are at the Slattery Room here at Mockler Beverage in Baton Rouge, our AFR listener watch party tonight. Ryan Phillips was our grand prize winner, so Ryan and 15 friends will be here tonight. It'll be open bar. If you're watching us on YouTube or on WBTR, you can see the bar area behind us. But this room is gorgeous, man. It's a one-of-one. It's custom. There's a gigantic shuffleboard table. There's sports decor all over the wall. I mean, Burt Jones, Marcus Spears, Emmanuel Sanders, Will Clark, Michael Jordan, John Elway, Dirk. There's a Miracle on Ice jersey back there. All these autographed frame jerseys signed. There's a bass on the wall signed by our friend Ryan Terrio. There's autographed guitars. It's so cool, man. It's a really great giant flat screen TV on the wall. We'll be watching the game tonight. So we're so appreciative of our friends at Mockler for opening the doors to us here tonight, for being great partners and allowing us to do something this cool. So we're excited about it, and hopefully you are as well. One thing that Sean mentioned there that I wanted to touch on briefly. You don't need to wait. I mean, I've told you since last Friday, I'm picking the Saints to win this game. I'm such a believer in short week travel being a disadvantage for the traveling team on the short week. So, I mean, I like New Orleans in the game tonight, but you're 3-3 right now. Tampa leads the division at 3-2. And Atlanta is tied with you at 3-3. Tampa will play the Falcons this weekend. So if Atlanta beats Tampa, then the Saints and the Falcons will be tied atop the division for the lead, and they haven't played yet. So I guess you'd go to division record next on there. Maybe Atlanta would hold a slight edge over New Orleans, but the point being, by win-loss record, you'd be at the top of the division after this week if you manage to get this win over Jacksonville. As we mentioned, this is probably – and you catch a huge break. I mean, we've talked so much about how the Saints don't face great quarterbacks, and really Trevor Lawrence is probably the best quarterback you're going to face all year. It's Lawrence, Goff, and Matthew Stafford. Those are the best quarterbacks you're going to face all year. So if Lawrence or Goff, maybe 1A, 1B, the best quarterbacks you face all year, and you're facing Trevor Lawrence when he's got to travel on a short week with a bum knee, it's just you catch a giant break. You catch a giant break on the schedule with this one falling where it does. So you go get this win, you get a little bit of a mini bye, and then you go on the road to take on Indy. So next week we'll see how it goes. But a big one, really, really big one for New Orleans tonight. I think Sean's right. You know, when you look up and if you win this one, you're 4-3. You're feeling better about where you are. But if you lose, I mean, look, you've lost 3 of 4. If you lose this one, you have lost 4 of 5. Your only win would be that game on the road against New England. But you'd have losses to Green Bay, Tampa, to the Texans, and the Jaguars. I mean, we all looked at the schedule before the season and said, look, you got to make your hay early in the season because you know what's coming, in the middle part of the season. And, you're still going to have to go to Minnesota, to Atlanta. You got the Lions coming in. We thought the Giants would be better than they are, but you got to go to the Rams, to the Bucs late in the season. So Yeah, you got to make your hay early, and this is a good opportunity to do it for New Orleans. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC. Remember, Jeff Monken, Army head coach, 45 minutes from right now. We'll look forward to that conversation. Stay with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Segan Air Airline, LA-16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day, buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. And remember, this Saturday, we're 2 days away, this Saturday at the Segan location only, it's the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree. Baton Rouge Green is a great organization to beautify our trees and green spaces around the greater Baton Rouge area. And every year, Clegg's Nursery hosts the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree. And it's an awesome thing they do. It's this Saturday, one day only, this Saturday at Clegg's on Segan, only the Segan location, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can buy a BRG-approved tree, and Clegg's will donate to BRG. You can ask their tree experts questions. You could stock up for tree planting season. So help beautify our green area and green spaces with the help of BRG, the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree, Saturday at Clegg's.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Well, Jim Harbaugh, who's suspended for the first 3 games of this season, finding himself in more hot water. You've probably heard this story by now. If you haven't, the NCAA is investigating sign-stealing accusations against Michigan. Now, there is no NCAA rule against sign-stealing. It's sort of gamesmanship, right? If you're not smart enough to be able to hide your signs in a games-to-like situation, or if you have tells, well, that's on you. I mean, isn't that the whole idea? Like in baseball, if you got a runner at second base looking behind the pitcher trying to get the catcher signal, well, that's on you if you're giving away the signs, right? So there's nothing in the NCAA bylaws prohibiting sign stealing. What is prohibited, however, is in-person advanced scouting. So you can't steal signs by basically scouting in person. And apparently, how in the world would Michigan be infiltrating other people's practices? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more about the story. But according to a Yahoo report, Michigan allegedly had people attending games of future opponents to gather information on signs used to call plays on offense and defense. So if you know you're playing it didn't work so great for Michigan against TCU in the playoff, by the way, but because it says they were doing it in the playoff, possible college football playoff opponents. Maybe TCU was deking you, Michigan. Maybe they were giving you errant signs and they fooled you all along. But for what it's worth, Jim Harbaugh's attorney, Tom Mars. By the way, Tom Mars is a beauty. Tom Mars, I remember first hearing about Tom Mars because he's the guy, or speaking with him. I interviewed Tom Mars. He's the guy that defended Houston Nutt in his lawsuit against Arkansas back in the day. Or was it Ole Miss? One of the lawsuits that Houston Nutt filed back in the day. Anyway, Tom Mars is attorney to the stars, attorney to the coaching stars. So anytime you see Tom Mars' name pop up, you know there's shady stuff going on, and he's trying to circumvent those rules or whatever may be happening. So Tom Mars told Dan Wetzel, quote, "I've spoken to Coach Harbaugh about what we've read in the sports news, and if NCAA rules allowed him to make a public statement, I am sure he would deny having any knowledge of what was reported." That's the extent. So Harbaugh's hiding behind the fact that NCAA rules don't allow him to make a public statement, which is bogus. And Tom Mars is saying that he would deny any wrongdoing, which, of course, he would deny any wrongdoing. But for what it's worth, my first thought was Jim Harbaugh in the NFL during Spygate? Like, did he learn all of this because of what New England did? And the answer is no. That Spygate in New England was back in 2007, and Jim Harbaugh was still at Stanford back in 2007. So maybe no direct Spygate link there, but nonetheless, as this continues to develop, we'll let you know. Jim Harbaugh, man. Jim Harbaugh, for as great a coach as he is, I mean, that guy won at the University of San Diego. He won at Stanford. He won with the Niners. He's winning at Michigan. Great coach, wins everywhere he goes, but just a shady fella, man. You can't help but think that Jim Harbaugh just never does things on the up and up. Right, wrong, or indifferent. All right, it's after further review. We're glad we're words, brother. We're glad you're along with us here. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. Call the Williamson Eye Center. Schedule that consultation at 924-2020. I saw Dr. Blake Williamson made a post earlier today on social media, and a big part of it was about the affordability of LASIK and other refractive procedures. If you're worried about the cost, or you think, I can't afford it, you might be stunned at, A, how affordable refractive procedures can be, and B, how much the Williamson Eye Center works with you to make sure you get whatever it is that you need. Maybe it's LASIK, maybe it's the EVO ICL, that's the implantable contact lens, maybe it's PRK, maybe it's the lens replacement. There's so many options, and the Williamson Eye Center wants to find that perfect option for you. So call 924-2020, go for that consultation. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, it is after further review. We go around the SEC every day about this time, but I'm going to let Muso, since I'm on location and we got a little bit of a delay, I'm going to let Muso handle around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn defensive backs coach Wesley McGriff is stepping away from his on-field duties with the program, according to Auburn Live's Justin Hawkinson. McGriff's decision is said to be due to a personal matter per a separate report, but he will remain with the football team on a daily basis. Tanner Burns, Auburn's special teams coordinator, will slide over to fill McGriff's role on field. Also, Auburn lands four-star safety Kendarius Reddick for the class of 2025. Reddick out of Thomasville, Georgia, is the 52nd ranked player overall, the 5th ranked safety in the 2025 cycle, and the number 10 player in Georgia. He chose Auburn over offers from Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, and others.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Nick Saban updated the status of safety Malachi Moore and tight end C.J. Dippre on Wednesday, saying both guys practice, so they continue to progress like they have. Good chance that they'll play. Nobody can predict that right now, Saban added. Moore is recovering from a twisted ankle suffered in the second quarter at Texas A&M 2 weeks ago. Alabama hosts Tennessee this weekend for the third Saturday in October.
Texas A&M!
Jimbo Fisher confirmed Wednesday that offensive lineman Jordan Spashevic-Moko is currently suspended from the team. Spashevic-Moko was arrested in early October and charged with violating a protective order that was put in place by the Brazos County judge. Fisher said Moko is not with us. He's suspended right now. According to the arrest reports, Moko entered a bar where a woman with a protective order was at and stuck his tongue out at her to taunt him. He was subsequently arrested and then violated the protective order again while in prison by calling her repeatedly from inside the jail. He has not started a game for Texas A&M this season.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And finally, Shane Beamer, broken foot and all, is providing injury updates on wide receiver Juice Moore and offensive lineman Ja'Kai Moore. In terms of Ja'Kai Moore, he practiced all week and is good to go ahead of the Gamecocks trip to Missouri. Wells will not play versus the Tigers and has not seen action since the Georgia game on September the 16th. That's around the SEC.
Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them, gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales service after the sale. That's what you always get with our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. gcopnet.com. All right, y'all, we are here at the Slattery at the Mockler Beverage Facility in Baton Rouge. We're fired up to be here. It's always a good vibe, man. Such a great place and a great community partner. Mockler Beverages. I know I've mentioned it before, but man, last year alone they sponsored 85 golf tournaments. That's more than a golf tournament a week. What I would say is effectively, if you're in this community and you go to church somewhere, your kids go to school somewhere, you're part of some civic group or charitable organization, Mockler has done something to benefit an organization you care about deeply over the years. Just a great community partner. And love this partnership and so thrilled to be here for AFR at Mockler for a little Thursday Night Football watch party. So excited to watch the Saints tonight as we get closer to kickoff. We'll give you any updates as we have them, availability on players, etc. Army head coach Jeff Monken is here 30 minutes from right now. Our conversation with the Army head coach as he brings his squad down to Tiger Stadium this weekend. Christian LaCouture will be on site with us in Hour 3. Ryan Clark, 1 hour and 15 minutes from right now, straight up to start Hour 3 as he is each Thursday. We're looking forward to that conversation as well. Let me knock out a quick break. We will wrap up hour number 1 from the Slattery here at Mockler Beverage. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every single day about our friends over at Hudco. That's me, that's Ryan Terrio, that's Richard Tilley, that's all our partners. Remember, earlier this week on Monday, the state of Louisiana announced its second window for fortified roofing grants. This is up to $10,000 in grants for Louisiana homeowners to install a fortified roof. If you're interested, let Hudco help. Go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. You'll see a green fortified button right on the homepage. Click that. There'll be a little form you can fill out. I mean, we're talking literally 30 seconds of your life. We'll have someone in touch with you over at HUDCO to get you started on that process to get that fortified roof. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Here at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get 1,000 special edition bonus cash. $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to Six Rings.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. I got asked on Twitter or X by a listener say, Matt, can you do a video breaking down LSU's college football playoff chances? Sure, but it might last 10 seconds. Went out. All right, that was 1 second. That's way oversimplified, I get it, but that really is what it boils down to. It's more than likely that you're going to have an undefeated or one-loss Big Ten champion in Michigan or Ohio State. They're in. I think there's a really good chance that Florida State is either undefeated or a one-loss champion coming out of the ACC, and they would be in. There's this feeling that the Pac-12 is going to cannibalize itself, and I tend to agree with that. We just saw Oregon lose a road game to Washington. And I know if you get down to it and you say, well, look, what if there's a 1-loss Oregon and a 2-loss LSU? Well, the scenario that we're spelling out here would involve a 2-loss LSU team that won the SEC, however, and would have beaten undefeated and top-ranked Georgia in the SEC championship game. Unless if there are 4 unbeaten Power 5 conference champions. If Florida State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Washington are all undefeated conference champions, okay, they're in, and you've got no shot. I just don't believe that's going to happen. I mean, we could look, Oklahoma had a great win against Texas, and congrats to Brent Venables for getting Oklahoma back to relevance sooner than we thought after a sub-500 season a year ago. And they're 6-0. I also look at their schedule, and Texas is the only ranked team that they play. This week they've got Central Florida. Then they're at Kansas, at Oklahoma State. Bedlam is always tough, and that's on the road. They're home against West Virginia, at BYU, and then they play TCU. If you're undefeated and you're Oklahoma, you're in. You slip up anywhere, no dice. And that anywhere could be a rematch with Texas in the Big 12 championship game. Remember, there's no division, so just the top 2 teams in the Big 12 go play in the championship game. So that could be what faces Oklahoma. They could go 12-0, play Texas in a rematch in the Big 12 championship game, lose that, and guess what? You're out. All this to say, we saw this a year ago, y'all, that as the season went along and teams started to lose, LSU had got itself all the way back up into the top 10, and they were approaching 5. And if they had beaten Texas A&M and gone to Atlanta and beaten Georgia, LSU was going to get in. They were going to get in as a 2-loss team. But they didn't. They lost to A&M, then they lost to Georgia, so it was moot. All of the ancillary stuff around college football is irrelevant unless LSU wins out. If LSU wins out, meaning winning in Tuscaloosa and beating Georgia, an undefeated Georgia, in the SEC championship game, then we have this conversation. But unless that happens, it's not even worth having the conversation. But in the hypothetical, what you would need to do is just cheer for everybody to lose. You just don't want to have undefeated teams. You want to be able to create a case for LSU. And LSU can't create a case against undefeated conference champions. You can create a case against 1-loss conference champions because you would be the conference champion of the SEC, and you would have wins against Bama on the road and Georgia and Atlanta in the SEC championship game. So while I am not sitting here telling you that is likely, as a matter of fact, I think it's more likely LSU loses twice than wins out. Let me say that again slowly. I'm not predicting that LSU is going to lose twice. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm saying it is more probable that LSU loses 2 games than it is they go undefeated the rest of the way, that they win out. I think LSU is going to beat Army. They're more than likely going to lose in Tuscaloosa. And I think they can win their final 3 games. All at home. Florida, Georgia State, and Texas A&M. I think A&M was maybe a little more of a concern a couple of weeks ago, but it's clear their offense is in the deep freeze, and they may unravel, especially if they go lose this weekend. So, I would love to think we're having this conversation by the 3rd week in November, the 2nd week in November. You know, when LSU is, after they play Alabama, if they win that game, and LSU's getting set to play Florida, I mean, brother, this is a real conversation. And that would be a lot of fun to have. But we are a long way away from that. But one thing I'll tell you I think is definitive. You know, LSU's going to win this week against Army, and then they're going to go play then they'll have an open date, So LSU's going to play Army, then have an open date. By the time, LSU right now is ranked 19th in the country. By the time LSU goes to Tuscaloosa, LSU's going to be in the top 15 because they're going to beat Army. They're going to have an open date. So over the next 2 weeks, while LSU is essentially off, other teams are going to play games and are going to lose. Look, USC and Utah are going to play this weekend. One of those teams is going to lose and drop below LSU in the rankings. That's just how this is going to transpire. So, bide your time, be patient, but LSU's going to have a great opportunity. 2 weeks from Saturday when they go to Tuscaloosa. Take care of your business against Army, get healthy, go to Tuscaloosa, take your best swing. If you're still standing after that game in Tuscaloosa, now we have a real legitimate conversation about scenarios, what ifs, and what needs to happen for LSU to get into the playoff. But none of it matters unless LSU wins out. And that starts Saturday beating Army, and then 2 weeks from Saturday in Tuscaloosa. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Our Thursday shows are brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. You want to look and feel like your younger self, our friends at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break. Sports Center's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, do the Saints actually have trade leverage for draft picks? We'll talk about that next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pure Restoration. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Say it again. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. If you've got mold, odor, other harmful pathogens, let Pure Restoration help. It's the same company. Patented non-toxic dry fog. All you who message me, hey, Scone, what's the mold company you talk about? Pure Restoration. Same great company, new name, because now not only can they take care of your mold faster and more cost-effective than traditional remediation companies, if you need any demo and build back, because they are licensed general contractors, they can handle that entire process for you. And they got a great sanitization product as well. Would highly recommend schools, hospitals, any type of building. They could do this one treatment a year, and you're sanitized for the entire year. It's Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Some kind of hold on me, like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, And there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infinity Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Phillies take a 2-0 series lead in today's Game 3 of the NLCS in Phoenix. Ranger Suarez and Brandon Pfaadt are the starters. First pitch just moments away on other ESPN radio outlets. Later, we'll have Game 4 of the ALCS. The Rangers lead the Astros 2-1, but the Houston Bats woke up in Game 3, including Jose Altuve, with 2 hits, including a home run. ESPN's Jessica Mendoza.
He's one of the greatest postseason players ever, and yet everyone comes back to the shirt and the jersey and the cheating, and that is forever, I feel like, his legacy until everyone finally moves on and understands that he is a freaking amazing hitter, regardless of the history.
Jess Mendoza on Greeny. Game 4, Astros and Rangers, starting at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Our Adam Schefter reports Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo is out for Sunday against the Bears with a back injury. James Harden missed another 76ers practice today, his second in a row.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, I'll tell you what I need to see from my Ravens before I say they're Super Bowl contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt. Well, actually, don't do that, Muse. My bad. Sorry, that was habit. We're on remote. There's a delay. We're not going to do that. Matt, Muso, and Paulie are back in studio. On site here, Bo Wegman, Alondra Villarreal taking care of business on site. We are at Mockler Beverage. AFR listener watch party. Are you jealous? You're kind of jealous. A little bit jealous. Phil's Oyster Bar going to be catering for us tonight. Big shout-out to Anthony Piazza and the guys over at Phil's. We'll have an open bar here at Mockler in the Slider Room. By the way, this is not a public bar. I just want to clarify. It's not open to the public. It's just their really, really, really badass bar that they built in this facility on premise where they host events. There's 6 tables that are 4 tops, some other bar chairs over there. They got the longest shuffleboard table I've ever seen. But what did we decide? That's 20 feet? That's got to be a 20-foot shuffleboard table right there, which is incredible. It's got a little bit of a lean to it. Bo, go get your engineer. Bo, go get your level. Amazing decor everywhere in here. Like, it's just such an awesome place. Got a gigantic TV on the wall right there and one behind me that's all. But we'll have those on for the game tonight. And our grand prize winner for the AFR watch party, Ryan Phillips, will have 15 of his buddies here. As soon as the show ends, Muse is going to jet over here, watch the game with us as well. Paulie's totally copping out. I knew it's okay, Paulie. I never expected you to be here. I never counted on you being here, so I knew when you told me yesterday definitively that you weren't coming. It was no surprise. I was only leaving myself open to be pleasantly surprised if you were going to show, but that's okay. Totally understand. But we're going to have a great night tonight, and we just appreciate so much our friends at Mockler for opening up this great facility and letting us crash for a night. Earlier in the week, actually it was Monday. On Monday of this week, I told you that if I were the Saints, my objective at this point would be to become sellers at the trade deadline. And the reason is because, and I get it, the Saints are 3-3. They're a half game out of first place in the division. But realistically, you can feel the angst around this organization, can't you? There is this clamoring, this fever pitch. Fire Dennis Allen. Fire Pete Carmichael. Derek Carr is not the guy. You're old. Like, you're the oldest roster in the NFL. You let that sink in. You are the oldest roster in the NFL. And you're 3-3, and you can't score a touchdown. You're on pace. Your quarterback's on pace to average 14 passing touchdowns this year. There's a lot going wrong. And they still may win a bad division and make the playoffs. And look, you can't win the championship if you don't get into the playoffs, and you still got a shot to do it. So I get that. But I think we all understand that's a long shot. So my solution was be sellers at the trade deadline, try to acquire picks, and start to rebuild your organization through the draft like you did in 2017 when you had that massive draft and you hit on Lattimore and Ramczyk and Alvin Kamara, and it was just boom, 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 one after another. But I told you also that that's not possible because every veteran player that the Saints have that would have some trade value, that a contending team would say, yes, give me that player because I'm trying to win now and that player can help me. They got contracts that aren't tradable. Like Cam Jordan would be the best example. It was like when the Texans let J.J. Watt go to Arizona. It was like, we're freeing you. We love you. We'll always love you. But we also understand we can't do for you what you want, which is give you an opportunity to win a championship. So fly, little birdie. Go find the thing that you love. And one day you'll be back here and we'll retire your number and we'll celebrate you the way you deserve to be celebrated. But for now, we have to show how much we love you by letting you go. That's how I feel about Cam Jordan. But Cam Jordan's dead cap money is $65 million. It would cost the Saints $65 million for Cam Jordan to not be on your team. It's not feasible. He's not going anywhere. So who could you possibly trade? Well, it's interesting because we had that conversation here on Monday, and Bill Barnwell over at ESPN has a piece up right now looking at all 32 NFL teams in NFL trade tiers. As we approach trade deadline, what teams could be sellers and what assets would they have? How about this? When Bill Barnwell looked at the New Orleans Saints, and this illustrates exactly what my point was. Chris Olave would garner a first-round pick and change it something else. In his second year of a rookie deal, obviously comes with a fifth-year option. So in theory, Olave has 3 years after this one. But again, he's a great player on a rookie deal that doesn't cost you much. If you don't have Olave, you're likely going into the draft to find a receiver anyway. So you wouldn't trade Chris Olave. Barnwell says Marshawn Lattimore could garner a first-round pick as well. Let's look at Lattimore's contract. His cap hit this year is $11.7 million. His dead cap number is $43 million. Marshawn Lattimore next year has a dead cap hit of $31.2 million. So if you traded Lattimore, next year he would count $31 million against your cap to not be on your team. If he is on your team, the cap number is $15 million. Essentially, it would cost you $16 million more to not have Lattimore on your team. Is that worth a first-round pick? He notes Ryan Ramczyk being a guy that has seen his stock drop tremendously as a guy who's approaching 30 years old and is not playing at the level that he once was. And then you could look at Ramczyk's contract as well. $46 million in dead cap money for Ryan Ramczyk. His dead cap, you could off-ramp out of Ramczyk's contract after this year. But again, if it's pre-June 1, you're still looking at a $38 million cap number. it doesn't make financial sense. There's no way that you can make this work to where you could actually get anything of value for these players because their contracts are so bad. Not only would the team trading for them have to take on a massive contract, you would be saddled with enormous amounts of dead cap money because of all the different ways you've restructured deals. So the point being, unless you want to trade your guys on rookie deals like Olave or Alontae Taylor or Pete Werner or Brian Brzee, like, there's no sense, but those are the guys you want to keep because they're on affordable contracts. You want to build through your young talent. You want to trade your veterans for draft assets that you could turn into more young players. That's how you rebuild. The problem is all of your veteran players either aren't worth anything anymore or have contracts that are not tradable. So I'll say it again. You're stuck. You're stuck as an organization. You're just going to have to live with the Derek Carr reality for 2 more seasons after this one and hope that he continues to improve in this offense or something changes, or you draft a quarterback and hope you have a Russell Wilson in Seattle or Brock Purdy in San Francisco type circumstance that no one can really honestly predict would happen. It was really interesting to me to run across that today, considering we had that conversation on Monday, and here it was today at ESPN.com spelled out about how the Saints really just don't have any assets that are tradable. So what can you do? I don't know. Play out the string. Hope you draft really well and get lucky. It's about the extent of it. Okay, y'all. It's after further review. Sorry, RC just texted me. We're going to bump RC up to 4:30. Let me do this. We'll knock out a quick break. I'm excited about this. Army head coach Jeff Monken is going to join us. We actually visited, full disclosure, we visited with Coach Monken earlier today. It was the only time he had available, so we recorded this morning. When we come back, I'll let you hear our conversation with Jeff Monken. Then after our interview with Coach Monken, we'll visit with Ryan Clark. We're looking forward to that. Glad you're with us here on a Thursday game day edition of AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of your New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Get to Rouse's or download the Rouse's app. Of course, if you want any of the great products that Mockler Beverage distributes, you can get all of those at Rouse's. So get on by. If you're going to be having a game watch tonight, grab you some Bud Light or any other great product distributed by Mockler over at any of your local Rouse's. If you're not one to cook tonight, easy. Just go into the deli, go to the meat section, just grab and go, or have them maybe slice some brisket for you. Great options every night of the week, every day of the week at Rouse's. When you're making groceries, make sure you look for Rouse's branded products. The Circle R logo, when you see it, you know they've sourced locally. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Remember, delivery and curbside pickup options are available, so go to the app, download that Rouse's app to learn more. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
LSU schedules a non-conference game. Generally, in the news cycle, it's a footnote. But 5 years ago in 2018, when we learned the Army Black Knights were coming to Baton Rouge, it certainly created a lot of buzz. And that date is finally here. Saturday, Army and Jeff Monken in his 10th season there at West Point coming into Baton Rouge. He joins us now. Coach, it's our pleasure. Thanks for a couple of minutes today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys.
Well, we appreciate a couple of minutes. I referenced that this game's been on the docket since 2018. Your program's played a lot of big places: Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Wisconsin. Some great games that people remember. Can you remember 5 years ago scheduling this game with LSU and how that all transpired?
No, I can't remember, and frankly, I don't know why we did. I have so much respect for the LSU program. They got such a great team. They're well coached, talented, and it's just a tremendous challenge for us.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people excited about your squad coming in. I'm sure you've seen that LSU's got camouflage end zones that they're painting. There's a lot of fanfare, pomp, and circumstance. The governor of Louisiana, of course, is a West Point alum. When you saw the camo end zone, did you have a reaction to it when you saw it?
I haven't seen the end zone, so I can't really speak for that.
Well, you'll see it on Saturday. Coach, 10 years at Army. That's a program that's got amazing history. Just aside from West Point, just on the football field as well. 3 national championships, 3 Heisman Trophy winners. But after 10 years, I would imagine some things that you pass by maybe become common and everyday and ordinary. Are there still things after 10 years, places, people, things that you see every day that still awe you at West Point?
This is an incredible place. There's American history at every turn on this campus. So, every day I pull up to my house, I live here on campus. There's a Revolutionary era readout in my yard. So it's essentially a Revolutionary fort. So, I mean, everywhere here, and certainly the football stadium and the history of this great program. But there's no place like West Point. It's I think the most incredible college campus in America.
You've recruited a lot of guys from South Louisiana up there to West Point as well. I'm a proud Catholic High alum. My audience knows that. I yell it all the time. You got Connor Finucane on the squad. I mean, since you've been there at Army, you've recruited 5 Catholic High guys alone to West Point. What is it about maybe that program or just about recruiting in Louisiana that has stood out to you?
Well, certainly the Catholic program is a winning program, and just the young men that they turn out each year. They're great students. They're mature. They're professional. They're ready for the rigors of a place like West Point, and the guys that we've gotten have all been good football players. So That's certainly been a good place for us. But the state of Louisiana in general, we've signed a lot of guys out of Louisiana. We're going to bring Miles Stewart from New Orleans with us on the trip. He plays running back. He's a terrific player. So, it's a place that we've continued to go back to, and we'll continue to do that as long as I'm the coach here. I think football is important to the young men that play high school football down there. Football is important to that state, and so we've had good luck with those guys. But there's several guys coming up in our program. Young guys like Jake Rizzo, who's from the state of Louisiana. All those guys, I think, are going to be good football players for us.
Jeff Monken is with us, Army's head coach. The Black Knights will be in Baton Rouge on Saturday. I think a lot of people know your cousin as well, Todd Monken, who was a coach here at LSU in 05 and 06 under Les Miles. Y'all ever have Thanksgiving conversations about his days coaching in Baton Rouge and what it was like?
Oh, he had a great experience there. He loved coaching at LSU and living down there, and he spent a good number of years in Louisiana, both at LSU as well as Louisiana Tech. And Todd's he's a tremendous football coach, and I know he really enjoyed his time. Was glad he had that opportunity to coach there at LSU and have that experience.
Coach, so much. I would imagine you've had to talk about the offensive transition ad nauseum, but I remember reading a very long feature that you did with Sports Illustrated this summer about having to transition from the traditional triple option and how that's all gone because of the cut blocking rules in the NCAA. I'm going to ask you just a very broad question. I mean, this is the first full year, obviously, or I guess the second first year of the implementation. I can look at a record and see 2-4. We've had some close calls against BC and some really good opponents. But from your perspective here, halfway through, how is that offensive transition going for you?
There's some growing pains, certainly, and I anticipated there would be. I didn't. I'd hope we could just roll right into it and score a bunch of points and win a bunch of football games. But there's some growing pains, and guys transitioning from the positions they played in the previous system, just the personnel fits at each particular spot. It's just going to take some time, and hopefully not too much longer. Obviously, we'd like to play a lot better on Saturday night against LSU. They got an incredibly talented football team. We're going to have to play really well if we're going to have a chance. But we got some important games coming up, certainly after that one as well. And our two academy rivals are still out there, and that was part of the reason for wanting to do something a little bit different, to continue to try to be competitive in those games. And we've won a good majority of those games over the last several years, but we're scoring 3 points in regulation on offense and 7 points or 14 points, and really they've been defensive battles, and I just wonder how much longer we can sustain that. And so just with the blocking rule changes a year ago, and I think the academy games being so important to us, I felt like we needed to make that move, and I know it's the right move. We've had some really great moments. I thought our guys played a complete, well-executed game against UTSA, who I have a lot of respect for and I think is a good football team. Played a good half against Syracuse in the first half, played a good half in the second half against Boston College, and then didn't play a good half at all against Troy this last weekend. So we've kind of been up and down a little bit, but our guys are getting better the more we do it, and every day I see improvements, and so hopefully we're gonna start to click.
Just a couple more for you, Coach. Obviously, a big part of the offense would be having Bryson Daly healthy. I know you spoke about him on Tuesday and said he was feeling your starting quarterback, that he was feeling better, maybe coming along. Can you give us an update here on Thursday and how he's doing?
Well, we continue to try to nurse him back to good health. Some positives yesterday. He's able to move around a little bit at practice, and so that's something we're going to have to just kind of evaluate as we go through the next couple of days before we travel.
It's LSU and Army Saturday night, Tiger Stadium, 6:30 p.m. Coach, I know you also mentioned earlier this week you've known Brian Kelly since his days at Grand Valley State. I'm curious, can you just elaborate a little bit on that relationship?
So early in your coaching career, you were a GA at Hawaii, and then maybe spent some time at Buffalo. How did you two cross paths back in the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, I had my cousin Todd was an assistant coach at Grand Valley State for Tom Beck, and his younger brother Ted, my other cousin, played at Grand Valley State. So there was a connection there with Coach Kelly being at Grand Valley State. My cousin Ted having been a player there, and Coach Kelly had a job open on his staff. He was gracious enough to interview me for a job. This is, oh my goodness, this is probably early 90s. And he didn't hire me for the job, but, got a chance to visit with him, and he's just been incredibly successful. But just over the years, we've crossed paths and coached against each other, and obviously have great respect for him and just all he's accomplished. He's just a tremendous football coach, and the great success he had at Grand Valley State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, and now LSU.
Coach, Tiger Stadium has been known to not be so gracious to visitors. I have a feeling not only will we see a first in Tiger Stadium on Saturday with Army coming in, but we'll see an opponent cheered in Tiger Stadium maybe for the first time ever as well. Safe travels, continued success. We can't thank you enough for a couple of minutes here today.
Thanks a lot, guys.
That is Army head coach Jeff Monken. Had an opportunity to visit with him this morning before the Black Knights had practice in their schedule. As you can imagine, the U.S. Military Academy is on a very, very, very regimented schedule. So when they told us, hey, you got 10 minutes at 10 a.m. Central Time, we were ready to roll at 10 a.m. Central Time with Jeff Monken. We appreciate a couple of minutes that he gave us earlier today. All right, it is after further review. Of course, if you're interested in wagering on LSU and Army, Tigers are a 31-point favorite, or Thursday Night Football tonight, our friends over at DraftKings can help you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 bet on anything. DraftKings will give you $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's for new customers. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Any $5 bet will get you $200 in bonus bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, remember, I tell you every single day, y'all, make sure you take advantage of the boosts. There's a Thursday Night Football boost on the DraftKings app tonight. There's a super boost for the Astros and the Rangers tonight. There's a 50% boost for any bet on Jags Saints tonight. You can go opt in, make that bet at the DraftKings Sportsbook, so you can get all the terms and everything there at the top. Just look at the graphics at the top of the app, and you'll see all those boosts. Take advantage of those boosts at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. New customers make a $5 bet. They'll give you $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
Okay, it's after further review. Little change. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Alondra, I need the clock. When we come back, Ryan Clark will be with us. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Darren asked me to use our time this week to mention this fundraiser. It's a benefit for Shamar and Maddie Lewis. They're a newlywed couple that just got married last week, and then they were the victim of a house fire this weekend and lost everything. Their children, clothes, furniture, everything. If you can help, it would be greatly appreciated. I just shared the post on my Facebook page. Post to donate clothing sizes for the children and for the adults. And there is a fundraising pool tournament event this Sunday at Clicks Billiards in Baton Rouge. If you're able to register and play, great. If you can just donate or give anything, that would be awesome. Prayers, of course, are certainly appreciated. If you can help, please do so.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Step inside an Infiniti QX50, and you'll find a suite of driver-focused features tailored to your taste.
You're not on yet. You're not on yet. You're not on yet. You're not on yet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
All right, Buse, hit RC's open.
It's time to talk Tigers with former LSU safety Ryan Clark.
All right, glad to have you aboard with us here, Ryan Clark. Good enough to do a little schedule shuffle and make this work. RC, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. How do you feel about playing, and I get Army sort of changed their offense a bit, but playing a triple option offense in the middle of the season?
I think it's difficult. Army coming into the year, Monken was supposed to sort of try to change it and not do as much of it. But if you go back to who they are, like, it's hard to get that out of your core. And you just don't see it often. It was very much like having to play the Wildcat back in the day before it became basically what every offense is, right? The Wildcat is now what's given birth to dual threat quarterbacks and zone reads and different things like that. But I think it's hard from an assignment standpoint, being able to find the ball, having the patience and discipline to know that if you step out of your gap or if you don't take your assignment, that they could make a big play. And so it's not fun either. It's just a boring sort of ball to play.
That's the objective, right? I mean, they are trying to shrink the game, and lull you till they hit the big run. So is RC, when you look at LSU's defense and where their perceived strengths, weaknesses are, is this a defense that should be able to fare well against an Army offense that? I mean, RC, they've struggled this year, man. That Army offense has struggled this year. Like, should LSU do all right?
Matt Moscona, do you want me to hang up this phone and not be a part of this?
I'm trying to be optimistic here, RC. No, everyone always says I'm a Debbie Downer. I'm negative. I'm trying to be optimistic here, man. Help me out.
So being optimistic is asking if an LSU defense can fare all right against Army? Like, what are you asking? Are you asking?
I mean, I'm asking. RC, they're one of the worst defenses in the country. We all know it. Like, are they getting better?
But they're playing Army, Matthew.
Okay.
Army.
Okay, good. I feel better.
Are you in some way trying to incite the people? Do you want the fans to feel like there's a chance we can lose? Like, it's Army. We should blow them out.
Yes.
Are these great men, young men? Yes. Are they disciplined? Yes. Are they one day going to serve our country? And am I grateful for their service? Yes. Do I want any of them on my football team? No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
LSU gave up 300 rushing yards to Ole Miss, and they averaged like 60 a game. Like they can't run the ball. Ole Miss can't run it, and they ran it for 300 yards against LSU. So I don't know, man. RC, LSU's a terrible. They've been a terrible defense this year, and I'm hopeful that they've got the ship pointed in the right direction. I just don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
If they don't, then that's our butt. Believe that.
Okay. Who on this defense in a game like this should have a big day?
I mean, I think you got to have a big day up front. You know, this is a defensive end game, right? Because it's the cat and mouse between playing the dive, playing the quarterback, being able to run to the pitch, and you know, I mean, like there's one guy that's a real life star on our team. Mm-hmm. And when used correctly, he makes a ton of plays. You look at Harold being a guy that could play the slot, play the outside linebacker, also be the rush guy. I think he's important. When you think of Sam being able to run the alley at the safety position, the smart thing there is, okay, we can't get beat on the one or two times they do fake the option, right? They give you sort of the zone option down the line. Now, get the three-step drop and try to hit you in the seam. But somebody that runs and hits the way that he does, he should also have a big impact on this game. This is also a game, man, like your interior lineman, like step up, right? Step up, bow your neck, invert the line of scrimmage, make plays. And so I think defensively, the play, like corners should go to their homes, right? We shouldn't even bring cornerbacks to the game. They should come hang out with me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. They should come hang out with me, bro, because they're not going to play.
That's actually a good thing, RC. For this defense, I'd rather not play the corners. That would be good.
Don't be like that, Matthew.
No, RC, it's man. They've been on the struggle bus this year, man. I'm serious. Like, okay, wait. All right, legit question. So one of the things that I think we're optimistic on, right, is second half against Missouri, they started getting stops. The defense played really well last week against Auburn.
Okay.
Can you, as a defense, improve in the manner in which it's going to take over the final month of the season when you play Bama and Florida and A&M? Can they improve in this game? Like, are there things you can continue to improve on in a game like this against a team that runs a completely different offense stylistically?
No.
Okay.
You can't.
All right.
It doesn't give you the opportunity to rep the things you'll see. Now, you can gain some sort of confidence in the fact that you played well, but it's not going to give you the reps of stopping the sort of ball we see now, and certainly not the level of athlete that they'll have to play against either.
Ryan Clark's with us. I got two more. He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. Y'all give him a follow. The Pivot, of course, if you're not subscribed up, get to YouTube. The Pivot podcast on YouTube. Subscribe up. Latest episode a couple days ago, drop with Drew Robinson. RC, give us a tease. What else are you dropping this week?
So this week we are, I don't know, you probably don't watch this show. Have you ever heard of like the Power series?
I have not.
Okay, so the Power series is this 50 Cent actually has a series called the Power series. It started with one show, now it's all these other shows. A guy that plays on one of those shows who is named his name is Joey Badass. I don't know if I can say Badass
You
on
can
your
say
show.
Badass. That's fine.
Yeah, he's a rapper / actor from New York. Went to all of these performing arts schools, so he's on our show. He's starting a mentorship program. We have Shakur Stevenson coming up. We have Adrian Peterson coming up, and we have one that we're working on that I'm really excited about. That I don't know if we're going to get yet, so I can't tell you because I don't want to be the boy who cried wolf. But I think if we get this one, it could be one of the best shows we've ever done on the Pivot.
All right. I love to hear that. Check out the Pivot if you haven't done so yet. Fred, Channing, RC, doing great stuff on the Pivot. Make sure you subscribe up. I want to get a question about Jaden Daniels, and you told us from the day that LSU signed him that he's just fine.
I love being right. I love being right,
No, you're
Tony.
right. You're right about that.
Tony, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you. I have a Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity chat from my fraternity brothers at LSU, and they always used to screenshot the blog boards. What I don't know what they call them. They used to screenshot them.
A message board.
Yeah, the message board, and they used to be hating on. They were so lucky. I knew I couldn't create one of those profiles and just go off on people. Where they at now, Sconey? Where they at now? Huh?
Hey man,
where all the naysayers now, Sconey?
We were in lockstep on that one, man. Look, RC, people lost sight last year of how bad that offensive line was, and that Jaden Daniels accounted for literally 70% of LSU's offense. Without Jaden Daniels last year, you were a 5-win football team. He's great, and it's awesome to see. Do you think that – all right, I'll put you on the spot. Do you think Jaden Daniels will be in New York for the Heisman presentation? I'm not asking if he wins it, but do you think he will be a finalist?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And I think it will be because we will beat Alabama.
Oh. Are you calling that shot right now?
Calling that shot right now. We're going to beat Alabama.
Is that just like the purple and gold blood running through your veins, or do you honestly think that LSU's the better team is going to go win that game?
Hey, Matthew.
Yes,
Matthew.
sir. Yes, sir.
How many times have you seen me have to tweet people back that say I hate LSU because I tell the truth? Come on now. Stop it. There's only one person that does media who people think hates LSU more than they think I hate him, and that's you. So,
oh my God! If only people knew.
I do think they beat them. I think when you watch the way Bama can struggle offensively, you go back to the second half of the Arkansas game after Milroe kind of starts well. I believe we have good enough players and we could understand what they want to do from an offensive standpoint well enough to match them. And I just think that we are so explosive offensively from a wide receiver perspective at the quarterback position. And you have a running back that just gets downhill and blues people with physicality. And I don't know, or I don't believe that the Alabama Crimson Tide can score with Jaden in that offense.
I agree with that. Okay, last thing. It would be stupid for me not to ask you this question because you're here and the Saints play in a few hours. Can you give me a 30 to 60 second thumbnail on Saints Jags tonight?
Yeah, Saints being able to create offense, right? Like I feel like that Pete Carmichael hasn't found a groove with what they can do offensively with Derek Carr yet. There's no creativity in their pass game, and Alvin Kamara has gotten the touches, but hasn't been able to create the dynamic plays. That has to change tonight. But you're banged up at tackle, not great inside. And defensively, I feel like the Saints have an opportunity to dominate, though. Trevor Lawrence is banged up. They're great in man-to-man. Trevor Lawrence is terrible from a quarterback rating standpoint against man-to-man. This is a low-scoring game, but the Saints find a way to win because playing in that dome is legit hell, and I'm from New Orleans.
Let's go. Who dat? All right, RC, you're the best. I appreciate you for making some time, man. As always, we're very, very appreciative. Hopefully we get to chat next week, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right, be well. That is the one and only Ryan Clark. This is After Further Review. We appreciate RC, of course. How about that? RC called his shot against Bama. That's one of those ones where I really feel. We got a break, but honestly, y'all, I am struggling because I got time, but I really want to pick LSU to beat Alabama because I agree with him. I don't think Alabama can score with LSU. Their offense isn't creative or dynamic enough to match LSU. It's just so hard to go on the road and win. You saw LSU struggle to go on the road and win at Ole Miss. I mean, the game at Missouri came down to the wire. It's just hard to go on the road and win. So, I got time. I got time before I make my pick. I'm undecided. I'm undecided on what I'm going to do with LSU and Alabama. Good thing I got 2 weeks to make that pick. All right, it's After Further Review. Thursday show is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, final break here of hour number 2. Christian LaCouture is going to be with us on site for a couple segments in hour 3. Our guy, former LSU defensive lineman, former number 18, former LSU GA and assistant coach. Christian LaCouture will be with us here. We'll talk some Tigers. We'll talk some Saints, some Thursday Night Football. Christian now works for Mockler, so we're excited to have him here. He'll be hanging out for the party tonight as well. So let me knock out a quick break, come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, the newest member of the AFR family. We appreciate our friends so much over at Glow Resources. The opportunity to talk about the company that Jareth Nakan has built over there. What I tell you what they are by telling you what they are not. They are not a temp staffing agency. Glow Resources, they serve their customer, the business owner, not necessarily the employee. So if you're a business owner and you're tired of experimenting to try to get your employees, if you keep going the cheapest route and it ends up costing you more money in the long run, stop wasting money on training and effort. Do it right the first time. The long-term cost benefit will be a cost-saving solution. It's Glow Resources, GLO, online at glowresources.com. White-collar, blue-collar, dozens of different industries. It's Glow Resources, glowresources.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're hanging out with us here from Mockler Beverage. I'll get you some ice cold Bud Light tonight when you watch the Saints, official beer of the New Orleans Saints and of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. You can get the handy dandy Bud Light cans with the Saints logo on it. Same with the LSU. They got the aluminum bottles, the purple and gold aluminum bottles. And I might have some, I don't want to spill the beans. Might have something really cool coming for LSU fans as well. You'll be the first to know. Put it to you that way. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, start with some NFL news before you hear Jeremy Fowler reporting that Panthers wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr. has received permission to seek a trade. Marshall's been really frustrated as of late, not just because production has gone down, but his playing time has gone down, and it looks like his next move is to find a new home. 104 catches, 742 yards, and 1 touchdown since 2021 for the former second-round pick. Major League Baseball action last night. The Houston Astros climbed back into the ALCS. Alex Bregman was 0 for 4, although had a couple hard-hit balls and a couple nice plays over at third base. Did draw a walk in the ball game. He's back in the lineup again tonight in that 3-hole spot. He'll be facing Andrew Heaney, who is hitting .314 off of in his career. Finally, some NBA news for you. Mark J. Spears reported last night that the Oklahoma City Thunder signed forward KJ Williams. Of course, they did draft Williams this past summer and now have that deal finalized. So see if you can join in on some of the preseason action the Thunder have been having. Of course, averaged 17 and 7 last season at LSU. That's Tigers and Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Scott Berg from Lee Michaels just back from overseas buying some of the most gorgeous diamonds you will ever see. Gentlemen, the holidays are almost here. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. And if you're thinking of popping the question, it's where Baton Rouge and all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for 45 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport, Lafayette, and lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, it's after further review. Got hour 3 staring us in the face. Been a really good show. Thanks so much to RC who was with us. Army head coach Jeff Monken, Sean Fazende joined us from the Dome as we were just pushing off from the dock earlier today. We are waiting on official inactives. We should have that coming up in the next hour. The official inactive list for Thursday Night Football. all the reports are that Trevor Lawrence is expected to play. As a matter of fact, who do we have, Muse, that had the report earlier today? I believe it was Rappaport. Can we play this? Here was Rappaport earlier today on Good Morning Football. That essentially that's the thought is that Lawrence is going to try to give it a go.
And Trevor Lawrence, the biggest question mark heading into this big-time game tonight. Trevor Lawrence officially listed as questionable, dealing with what was described to me as a pretty slight knee sprain. Now, teams before, as you guys know, Thursday night, don't really practice. They do more walkthroughs, but C.J. Beathard, the backup, did get most of the reps during the walkthrough. However, there is, from my understanding, some confidence that Trevor Lawrence will still be able to go. In fact, don't just take my word for it. That's literally what Trevor Lawrence said. He said he is confident that he will be able to get out there. Just want to make sure before the game that he's moving okay, not in as much pain, and just can really get the job done.
The one other notable thing, and Muse, can we play Rappaport talking about Jamal Williams? This is a good point Sean Fazende made earlier today. Jamal Williams, Saints running back, is supposed to be active tonight.
Should also mention that the Saints offense, which certainly has been in focus for maybe not the greatest of reasons, is expected to get an influx of some firepower. Jamal Williams, who began the season as their starting running back, has been on IR with a hamstring injury. I am told he is expected to be activated and will play tonight.
Huge boost for an offense that could use any good news, all the good news that it could possibly get. All right, it's after further review. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. Hour 3 next from Mockler.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with 30 different locations across 11 different states. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, rents the products you use to weigh and measure. You need calibration for your precision measurement devices. Michelli does that. They have mobile calibration labs. They can come to you. If you have equipment that can't leave your facility or you don't want it to leave, no worries. They can come calibrate on site. Everything from, have you ever thought of, when you got to open a pickle jar, how much force does it take to open that jar? Well, Michelli calibrates those machines. How much force should it take to tear a perforation on a paper towel? Michelli calibrates that as well. They're our largest distributor of scales. Go to the airport, you weigh your luggage, you'll see a little Michelli sticker. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, 76 years in business. Learn more online at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit, recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street. The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. with driver and passenger massage seats. Mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. National League Championship Series Game 3 right now on other ESPN radio outlets. In the fourth inning, the Phillies and Diamondbacks are scoreless. The Phils lead the series 2-0. Starting at 7:30 Eastern, our coverage of Game 4 of the ALCS. The Rangers lead the Astros 2-1. ESPN's Carl Ravitch on 21-year-old Texas outfielder Evan Carter.
He was the valedictorian of his high school. He was going to Duke to be a dentist, and he figured out I can make a little bit more money instead of filling crowns by chasing triple crowns, which he may end up doing in his career.
Carl Ravitch on game night. He'll call Game 3 of the ALCS tonight on ESPN Radio. NFL Week 7 kicks off tonight in New Orleans with the Saints hosting the Jaguars. R. Ed Werder reports Jags coach Doug Peterson expects quarterback Trevor Lawrence to start tonight. Bucs assistant coach Terry Stotts resigns from his spot on Adrian Griffin's staff. Stotts had just joined the Bucs in the spring. He's also the former head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, I'll tell you what I need to see from my Ravens before I say they're Super Bowl contenders. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We are live at Mockler Beverage here in the Slattery Room, the really freaking
famous
cool,
Slattery Room.
Famous Slattery Room. It's so good, bro. Christian LaCouture joining us on site now. Former number 18 LSU defensive lineman, LSU assistant coach, recruiting guru back in the day as well. Now working for Mockler, slinging beers left and right.
The best beers in the world, man.
Bro,
the best beers in the world.
How cool is this place, man? I love coming up here. I was blown away the first time I walked in this room.
Man, I'll tell you, a lot of late nights here. You know, it's just so fun. You know, the people and just the environment that you're here, man. And you get to come up here and have some great beers, and you see all the games and just great people, man. I mean, it's a great place to be.
Do y'all have, like, company events in here?
Oh, yeah, all the time, man. I mean, look, I drove an hour and a half to come up here and have a great time.
I love it, dude. Look at my guy. We were I told Bo, our engineer who's on site, we were playing shuffleboard.
Oh yeah.
So normally show starts at 3. At 2 o'clock, like everyone at Guarantee in our building knows, like, Bo will tell you, like, do not bother me after 2.
Right.
Like, because that's when it's head down. I'm sprinting toward the finish line of the show. It's like the final touch of the segment, putting the rundown together.
Right.
There's different things I got to do, and man, so it's like, do not bother. Like, I am usually in the zone after 2 o'clock. Like 2:36, Bo and I were playing shuffleboard. We're playing shuffleboard over there.
2:36 on the dot.
Alondra's doing like Instagram stories of me and Bo doing shuffleboard. I'm like, we'll figure it out. You know, whatever.
We'll
we got
see.
stuff.
We'll
we got
see.
the LaCouture's coming. We'll just talk to him. I'll have him do the Sully from Natick bit. Use the Boston accent.
God, I thought about that the other day, man.
Sully from Natick?
Sully from Natick, Mass.
Well, the Red Sox and the Yankees both both sucked this year, so neither of us have bragging rights for anything. They were two awful baseball teams.
You know what I saw? It was really interesting. Great take. Somebody came out, I think it was Pedro Martinez, that said Ohtani to the Red Sox.
Why is that a great take? That's a terrible take.
Why?
Who wants to see
They
that?
have the money.
That's awful.
They have the money.
Well, yeah,
to do
so do
it.
the Yankees and so do the Dodgers. And a lot of people have the money.
Stan ain't looking too good with that contract right now, man. I don't want to get into it, but it was a great take, I thought.
It's a great take. Of course it's a great take. You're a Red Sox fan. Yeah, it'll be great for you in 2 years when he can throw again before he blows out.
Very
again.
true.
Anyway.
Very true.
Hey, I want to talk some LSU with you, LSU and Army, and we'll talk some Thursday Night Football. I know you're going to hang out for a couple of segments. Yeah. With Army this week, I'm trying to think, did you play against a triple option offense? Because they played Georgia Southern in 2019, but
I was coaching.
You were coaching at that point.
Yeah.
How challenging is this week to have to prep for a triple option? Although Army's it's a little different now. Like it's not traditional triple option like out of the bone.
Yeah.
They're out of a shotgun. It looks a lot different. It's some of the same concepts, but how different is it preparing for the defensive front seven?
Well, man, I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating. I remember when we were getting ready for Georgia Southern in 19, I mean, the amount of plays that they could run out of it. I mean, you can run play action. You can run so many different runs out of it, and it's something that obviously is, especially if you want to be a pass rusher and you want to get after the quarterback, it's incredibly frustrating. But you have to be gap sound, too. That's the biggest thing is you got to be gap sound. You got to be patient. You can't wait. I mean, especially as a defensive lineman, you're going to get to the point where you're not making plays and you're kind of getting frustrated. Man, they just keep running the ball, but it's like, man, you just got to be patient. You got to be gap sound. And I know Coach Pete's really harping that right now, but that's a big thing with the triple option offense.
LSU won that game 55-3. You know what I remember about it? And that was the opener. It was the season opener.
Yes.
Does it matter? Well, number one, what I remember is they came out slinging the football, and Burrow's got like 5 touchdown passes, and we're like, holy crap, they got a passing offense.
Oh, dude, we were definitely excited.
It was when we sort of realized, oh, my God, look, they're –
I was a little jealous, man. I was like, man, oh, God, 2017, 2016, that would have been fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just forget, like, LSU went through we've been spoiled these last handful of years, and we forget that LSU went through a decade of a quarterback wasteland.
Traditional run, yeah.
It was so offensively challenged.
Right.
But I remember that the offense obviously happened today, but the other thing too is that was the season opener.
Right.
So it wasn't like it was smack dab in the middle of the season.
Right.
I would assume you had time to prepare for that game.
Yeah, and that was, I think that's why. I mean, I remember Dave Aranda telling us we held them to under 100 yards of offense. So, like to your point, you had a lot of time to get ready for them. You kind of knew from last year, same coaching staff, same type of players coming back. So you kind of knew what you were getting compared to only having 4 or 5 days during the week, and then really 2 of those days. One of them's a walkthrough, and one of them's literally today. Like you're just watching film. So you really got 3 solid days of having pads on ready to go. So it's not a lot of time compared to your first game of the year.
Good memory, 98 yards of offense. For Georgia Southern.
Well, the reason I remember Dave came, it was the last drive. He goes, we got to hold them to under 100. We got to hold them to under 100. I'm like, man, this is
So you're aware of that in game?
Oh, yeah. You know. I remember it. Well, I don't know if the players remember. I remember we had so many 3-and-outs, and we had some sack fumbles, and we had some TFLs. Because, again, you're going against the run, so you're not going to see a lot of play-action pass and some, traditional things like that. So when I saw him getting backed up so much, and then in the fourth quarter, I look up, and we had him to like 70 yards. Like, man, we can really do this.
Huh.
So Dave, the last drive, goes, we got to hold him under 100. We got a 3-and-out.
I guess it's just interesting because, like, so you just watch the game differently, obviously, if you're a player or coach,
Right.
if you're in the media covering the game.
Right.
And there's just so many times where I know I've walked into post-game press conferences and an SID will like.
He has the stats.
Of course, now I'm trying to do this for effect. Like, you tear the sheet and, like, the coach is walking up to the podium and he's like, here, coach has stat sheet, and this is the first time he's looking at the stats.
Right.
So it's interesting to hear, like, during the game, a coach is actually paying attention to the stats and how it may play out.
Right.
I asked Ryan Clark this last hour. I'll ask you the same question. You all play different positions.
Right.
But is there anything – did you hear his answer, by the way?
I did not know.
Okay, good. Because I'm curious how you answer it. Is there anything when you're a defense and you're playing this type of offense? Right. So saw some improvement second half against Missouri. Looked good for the bulk, obviously, the game against Auburn. Is there anything that you can improve upon in this game against this opponent that you can carry forward for the rest of the season?
Man, I'll tell you, is stopping the run. That's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing I think a lot of people have seen this year is stopping the run. I mean, I was always told is you're going to have a very sound defense if you work through the middle. If you got a solid nose tackle, defensive tackle, a solid middle linebacker, and a really solid, strong safety. If you go all the way through that and you have a solid middle and you have a great foundation, you can expand from the outside. So for us Mason and Mackay is Wingo, and if you have those guys, and those guys are going to kill it. We know that. But if you have a solid middle of your defense and you play gap sound and you can stop the run, but this is going to be a huge challenge. They're going to see so many runs. You're going to see power. You're going to see counter. You're going to see speed option, triple option. You're going to see so many different ways they can run the ball. And that's kind of where it goes back to is being gap sound and knowing your role and like, hey, just do your job. You got 11 people out there. Make sure you do your job. And I think that's going to be a huge test for them this week is making sure they can stop the run. If they can do that in SEC play, you're going to see that.
Christian LaCouture is joining us on site. It's funny that you say that. Look at this. Literally 1 minute ago, Brian Kelly just met with reporters.
Oh, wow.
So Mackay Wingo and Emory Jones are out.
Yeah.
Chris Hilton is in.
Yeah.
So we'll see Chris Hilton back. Hilton sprained his ankle on the final play against Ole Miss.
Yep.
When Jaden threw for him in the end zone, he went up to get it. He came down. One of the weird things, if you go back and watch, the fans are storming the field, and Chris Hilton's like laying on the ground injured.
Yep.
It's like, oh, my God.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons. We don't need to go on a tangent about storming the field, but it's one of many reasons why it
was a rough
just
game.
Stay your ass in the stands. But anyway, but Mackay Wingo, Emory Jones being out, I don't think that's a surprise. Obviously, like you shouldn't need him this week. Get Lance Hurd experience. Give Emory basically 21 days from injury to Bama to try to get healthy. Thought on how Lance Hurd played?
Dude, I mean, that's solid for a true freshman, man. To go out there in SEC play and do what he did, I mean, you can kind of see the athletic traits he has, but to go out there and have that, maturity as a true freshman to go play tackle on an island, for me, I thought that was really impressive.
So he played
was it guard? No,
he played tackle.
He played tackle, okay.
We saw him against Mississippi State.
That's right, yeah.
They rotated him in. It was at a point where they were talking about moving Emory Jones to guard.
Yeah, that's right.
And and Frazier came out, and then Hurd went in at right tackle.
Right.
So they did that against State.
Mm-hmm.
But then Frazier played really well, man. And there was your best five were the five that you started with, and so they hadn't tinkered since. But then Emory Jones went down, and so we saw Lance Hurd go in. But we've seen him play on the road at State.
Right.
He played basically the whole game because he went in the second series against Auburn.
Yeah.
And now he's going to have the whole game against Army. How much of a benefit is that for Hurd getting these? I mean, like outside looking in, obviously it makes sense, right? Well, it's just you're playing more, you're getting more comfortable. But what's like functionally, how does that benefit him getting play this full game?
Oh man, it's crucial. I mean, it's kind of tough when you kind of go into a situation where you're coming in not the middle of the game, but you didn't start from play one, right? So there's a lot of, and to be honest, he probably didn't have that during practice during the week. You have that similarity to the guy next to you and know how he works compared to how you work. And if he's going against second string, he's not going with that guy. So having that during this week and being able to be against, be with whoever's at guard, Frazier or whoever it is, and knowing how he works and kind of working together, whether it's the combo blocks or working up to the linebackers, you know how he's going to be. You're going to be there from play one, so it's going to have that, familiarity of knowing that guy next to you. So I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah. And then what about not having Wingo?
That's tough. Obviously we've seen him. He's had a great year. He's been a huge spotlight on that defense.
Kelly said he's been injured all year.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing considering. I mean, he's made some great plays. So if he's not 100%, I mean, it'd be really exciting to see when he is. But shout out to my man number 18, holding up down on the D line. But
do you vote on that?
No, I don't. But obviously, when we talk to the guys, we kind of, whether whoever's up there, like, this guy looks like he'd be a solid person for it, but we don't officially have anything for it. But for him, you can see that. I mean, he's a leader out there, and obviously you missing a great player, but a great leader as well. And it's kind of like you're missing two players, to be honest.
Well, LSU and Army Saturday from Tiger Stadium. LSU's a 31-point favorite. It should be hopefully. A really cool day in Tiger Stadium with Army coming in for the first time ever. You saw they painted the end zones, the camo end zones.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah.
I'm not a curmudgeon. I don't want to be like if the kids like it, people think it's cool. It's cool. It's not for me, but whatever.
Right.
Then again, like I loved the end zones from like Nick's time, the 2000s, which were like these big block letters. But it doesn't matter.
It changes,
It's
cool to see something different, right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a whatever, but with it. But I think there's a lot of cool things they're doing to add some pomp and circumstance to the game, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is.
I think you need to,
really
though.
cool.
I think, like you said, it's the first time, and especially being Army, man, I think that's going to be a really cool thing to see.
It's going to be cool. But hopefully the game is just pretty chill, and it gives LSU an opportunity to keep building some confidence.
Yes.
Let the rest of college football beat each other while you beat Army, take a week off, and then you pop up to Tuscaloosa 2 weeks from Saturday, take your swing, and see what happens
That's
after
a big thing, too, is we got to be careful. You can't look ahead, man. You got to take care of business tomorrow. That's the biggest thing.
Christian LaCouture's here with us. We're at Mockler. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little more about Thursday Night Football. We'll wait on the final inactives. Also, little contract news for the baseball program. Jay Johnson's sticking around for a while. I don't think that's a great surprise, but he's being rewarded for I guess he's reaping the fruits of his labor at this point, the spoils of victory. We'll get to all that. Glad you're aboard with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at onehourbr.com. Hey, remember, at River City's 1 Hour Air, the preseason heater safety check is available right now. We know in Louisiana, we only use our heaters for like 3 or 4 months out of the year. So it's dormant for 8 months. It's sitting there, not being used, not turned on. It collects dust. It can be hazardous. Before you crank on your heater, make sure you call River City's 1 Hour Air. Let them come out, give you that pre-season heater safety check. They'll make sure your heater is safe, efficient, and ready to roll for the cold weather months, and you'll save $30 just by mentioning the Moscona special. Call them today, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
We have truckloads of inventory rolling in at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, and you can take advantage of 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer, and after further review. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
This should come as absolutely no surprise to anyone. LSU, fresh off winning a baseball national championship. To the victor go the spoils, as they say, and Jay Johnson is being compensated handsomely. LSU and Jay Johnson have agreed to a 7-year, $12.55 million contract extension that will keep Jay Johnson in Baton Rouge through 2030. The Advocate was the first to report it. So 7 years, $12.55 million for Coach Jay. His initial deal was a 5-year, $6.5 million contract. So with the raise, he'll be making about $1.6 million a year. That's before incentives. It has to be approved by the Board of Supervisors, which, of course, it'll get rubber stamped. But keep in mind, they just agreed to a 10-year extension for Kim Mulkey, worth $36 million. So she's making $3.6 million. But for Coach Jay, that puts him at $1.65 million per year. And the thing we talk about with Jay Johnson all the time is, and look, Jay has said this on the record. He's told us this. He has basically told everybody this every time he's ever had the opportunity to speak about it. Jay Johnson is a guy that fancies LSU as the best coaching job in baseball. He has told us on the show, on the record, he would not leave LSU for the Yankees or the Red Sox. Like, he doesn't want to be a professional coach. He wants to be a college coach. He wants to be Nick Saban of college baseball, or Skip Bertman. I mean, I don't know that we could say Skip Bertman 5 and 10 years and what Skip is here, but just meaning – you build a dynasty in a place, and you are considered the greatest in your profession, and that's what he fancies. And there's nowhere that he's going to be able to do that better than LSU, where you've got the history and all of the resources that you need to recruit, the facilities, the conference, everything. So Jay's 46 years old. I mean, he is embarking on a thing that he could literally do for the next 30 years. Like, he could be a Mike Martin at Florida State, someone that stays in one place and is the coach at that school literally for 30 years. If he wanted to, I'm not telling you he'll coach till he's 76, but if Jay Johnson wanted to coach here for 20 years and until he was in his mid-60s, like, he will have that opportunity to do it. And that's the thing he wants to do, is be the LSU baseball coach and win as many national championships as possible. I mean, this is a guy that got to the championship series with Arizona. I mean, like, he is going to be here for a long time, and he is a maniacal recruiter. We've talked about it with Coach Jay and his wife. They don't have children. His wife worked for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, so she is very much Maureen is very much into the college athletic culture. She gets it. She gets recruiting and the commitment and time commitment it takes, and like, they are in tandem. Committed, man, to making LSU baseball the thing. So it's LSU baseball's in good hands, man. I mean, it's exciting.
Man. It's definitely well deserved after last year.
Christian LaCouture joining us here. We're at Mockler for a Thursday edition of AFR, counting down to Thursday Night Football, Saints and Jaguars. Hey, man, what do you think about so much of what we're talking about tonight or today are all of the inactives and the injuries, playing on a short week. And what do you think? Like, I know, when you finished up your LSU career, you were in camp with the Ravens. And what do you think about the toll, just from an athlete's perspective, this turnaround to play on basically not even basically 3 days rest, playing on the fourth day?
It's like kind of what we were talking about earlier, right? When you were getting ready for the triple option offense, you only had those 5 days. Well, turning around and you only got really 2. Man, I think we played Pittsburgh, the Steelers on a Thursday. It was like week 3, I can't remember, but it was a Thursday night game, and it was a quick turn. It's a whole different schedule, man. Like, it's a whole different schedule, and man, I mean, that Monday you're watching film, but you also got to practice and get ready. It's kind of not your heavy day, but Tuesday's gonna be your heavy day, but you don't want to kill, so it's kind of really 2 days together, and then Wednesday, I mean, it's really a walkthrough, and it's kind of like how a Friday is in college. I mean, it's just such a quick turnaround, and obviously with everything with that, it creates kind of more risk for injuries, and it's just really tough on the body, man. Plus, you got to do that 17 times a year, but and then that's not even including the playoffs going forward.
Yeah. Do you follow the Saints a ton?
I do, man. Where we have those sponsorships with Bud Light and Cutwater and Neutral, we really, we have a suite there. We try to go out there all the time, and man, it's started off strong, and they look really good. I'm glad Derek's there, and hopefully they really kind of get a big win tonight. I think I saw Trevor Lawrence is playing though. So look, he's going to start.
Yeah, we're waiting on the official inactive list. I think the most interesting part from the Trevor Lawrence perspective is, he plays on Sunday. He sprains his knee. C.J. Beathard takes all the reps with the first team this week. They signed a quarterback to the active roster who was from the CFL, like a Canadian League quarterback. So they're preparing for the possibility that he wouldn't play. But I kind of compare it to when Carr sprained his AC joint a few weeks ago. Jameis took all the reps in practice that week. And then by the end of the week, you're like, Carr actually looks like he can make all the throws, so he played.
Right.
So it's like you prepare for the possibility that he won't be there, but you hope that he's ready. And it's like Lawrence didn't practice. He's probably going to have a bum wheel, but is a hobbled Trevor Lawrence a better option than 100% C.J. Beathard?
I mean, that's probably what they're looking at, and I mean, the way he's been playing this year, it probably is.
Muse, hit this Marcus Spears cut if you would. This was Swagoo on NFL Live.
Man, Marcus.
I love Swagoo, man.
Love him.
On NFL Live and what to watch for tonight's game on Thursday Night Football.
I'm looking forward to the explosive plays. The Saints have been able to hit some to Shaheed and Chris Olave, but they haven't been able to close the door and get in the end zone. I want to see if they'll be able to do that against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And on Jacksonville's side, Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley connection is continuing to build, but Travis Etienne has been the star in this offense. Which team explosive plays is going to take hold in this game and create a win for their team Thursday night on Prime?
I think for New Orleans, this is we've talked about it a lot. It's weird that there's so much angst around the team when you zoom in and you see they're 3-3.
Yeah.
And you're a half game out of first in the division.
Yeah.
But when you zoom out, you realize, man, they got a lot of issues offensively.
Yeah.
There's so many questions about Dennis Allen, Pete Carmichael, Derek Carr, like that sort of tripod that you're supposed to lean on. Your head coach, who's your defensive coordinator for all intents and purposes, your OC, and then your quarterback. And when you don't feel great about those three guys, it almost feels like, man, you don't have a foundation upon which this thing is built. So, I look at this game and I go, all right, so Jacksonville is in London for 2 weeks. They come home.
Mm-hmm.
They play a divisional game against the Colts.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I thought that was going to be their letdown spot. 2 weeks in London, you come home, divisional games, a letdown.
Right.
But they beat the crap out of the Colts.
Right.
And now, on a short week with an injured quarterback, you got to go on the road. Like, this is their exhale.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, this is a spot where if you're New Orleans, you got to take advantage. You have got to get this game tonight.
You got to. And I think you said it best, man. It's like, especially for New Orleans, it's like, I think they got to find that foundation. What are we? Are we a traditional throwing the ball with Derek Carr, or are we going to the ground game with Kamara? Like, what is it? You can't – we got to figure – I think for them, they got to figure that out, man, because it's like, man, I think they're sometimes trying to force something with Derek. They're trying to throw it 40, 45 times a game. Is that them? I don't know. But when you got a weapon like Kamara, I think using them better kind of in that traditional format, coming back from that suspension, he's got some fresh legs. But to your point, I think coming with Jacksonville, I think they finally feel like, hey, we got a great win. We went through this kind of trifecta of 2 weeks in London, coming here, beating the Colts. Coming to Thursday night, there's a lot on their plate. Is that going to kind of – New Orleans going to take advantage.
Jamal Williams is active tonight as well. Of course, Jamal Williams led the NFL in rushing touchdowns a year ago, and he was a big free agent acquisition for New Orleans. He had the injury, so he was on IR, so he's been out for 4 weeks. So you get Jamal Williams back. You've got Kamara back off of his suspension.
Yep.
You've been playing Kendre Miller. So for the first time all year,
you're healthy.
You're actually going to have all the guys that you thought you were going to have offensively. Now, the flip side of that is your offensive line is a mash unit. There's no Ramchick.
No.
There's no Hurst.
No.
All accounts are Pete is going to start at left tackle because they don't like
Penning.
they don't want to play Trevor Penning, which bro.
Well, man, it's as a quarterback, man, they got a clock in their head, right? I mean, they're looking down the field and they probably have 3 seconds. Once that 3 seconds is up, if they don't know what that is, they're taking off, man. And for him, especially if he's getting hit before that 3 seconds, it's going to create a lot of uncertainty in his head.
I mean, I don't know that we saw this problem here tonight talking about it, but like, if they missed on Trevor Penning,
that's tough, man.
It's not tough. It's cataclysmic.
It is.
Because you drafted him to be your franchise left tackle.
You did. And you let Armstead go.
And Armstead walked in free agency.
Yep.
You draft Penning to be your franchise left tackle. He basically misses his rookie year because of injury. Now in year 2, you feel like you can't even put him on the field.
No.
He's going to be a backup to Andrus Pete, who missed last week with a groin after a concussion. And now Pete, who's been a left guard his whole career, is a better option at left tackle than your second-year first-round draft pick, who you traded up. I mean, that was part of the trade with the Eagles.
Yep.
I mean, it's for a franchise that's trying to find its way back to the upper echelon.
Yeah.
You don't have the luxury of missing on first-round draft picks.
No.
Like, if this dude can't give you anything, he's basically going to be the jumbo tight end.
Yeah.
He's going to be the tackle-eligible guy, the extra blocker. That's what he's going to be tonight.
That's true. That's a good point.
I mean, Cameron Irving, who was a first-round pick the same year as Pete, who was Jameis's left tackle at Florida State.
Yep.
The Saints signed him off the street a couple of weeks ago. He's starting at right tackle tonight for Ramchick.
Yep.
Over Trevor Penning.
Yep.
I mean, it's a tough spot, but your offensive line's a mess, but all of your skill guys are healthy and available tonight. You're going against a good Jacksonville front. I mean, the other Josh Allen we know can rush the passers. They got Caleb on.
They got Caleb on too.
Are you a little surprised that he hasn't been more effective in the NFL?
Man, I am a little bit. I love him to death, and he is one of the most athletic people that you will ever be around. Tall, long, limber. I mean, he can bend the edge. I really feel like now, he's always had Josh Allen, but I think he's going to really start trying to hopefully take advantage of having somebody like that. Because look, when you got so many guys on that line, man, it creates a lot of one-on-ones. So you're gonna have that one-on-one situation. I hope my man can take advantage of it.
Hey, we're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Remember, Relief Windows, they've got windows, doors, siding, and now shutters as well. If you're going to buy your windows from Relief Windows, you should probably buy your shutters from them as well. Just like the windows, custom made to order. They measure twice, install once. They do it right the first time, and you will always get an exceptional customer service experience. I know I always say windows, door, siding, but Relief Windows, what they really are is experience, quality, and service. I mean, Brandon Holly has said it so many times. As a business owner, you got to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. They will not take a dollar from you. They will never take a down payment. They will not take a dollar from you until the work is done and you're thrilled. That's Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding, but experience, quality, and service. That's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. There's some food up here tonight too, man.
Dude,
Phil's Oyster Bar.
Dude, it's gonna be a great night, man.
I'm fired
up.
up.
Great
man.
night.
I'll whip you in shuffleboard later if you want.
Dude, you better be playing a best of 7 because it's gonna get ugly for you quick.
What do you mean a best of 7? By the way, the table.
I'm gonna want to play 4 or 5 games at least.
By the way, the table has a little bit of a lean in it.
Yeah.
We gotta get a level on this table.
I gotta say, my man David Lynch is very good at this game. Very good.
But does he have like a home court advantage over here?
He's a southpaw, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. So when it's coming down, it's got usually when I throw it, it kind of goes from right to left. For him, it's a little left to right. It just kind of messes my head up a little bit.
But the real problem with this table, it's not level. I'm serious. It's not level. We decided this. Like it's been the side against the wall needs to come up a little bit.
I think this talking smack's getting into your head a little bit.
No, it's not. We were having this conversation. I'm here with an engineer. I'm here with an engineer. I'm telling you, the table isn't level.
I'm not an engineer, but I think it's straight, dude.
It's not. I'm telling you. It's like I'm good at this game. And
well, look, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure you pick whatever side you want.
No, it's good. I mean, we'll go. Look, we're all playing on the same. Listen, no. We're all playing on the same table. It's fine. I'm good. I'm just telling you, as a matter of fact and record, you do need to fix the table.
But here's what I'm saying. I feel like you're playing the card of like, hey, if I win, I'm going to talk smack. But if I lose, man, the table is kind of.
No, I'm not blaming the table at all. None whatsoever.
Can I put this on here for the record? If I beat this man, if I sweep him tonight, you will hear it on the next show because the table was messed up.
No, I promise you will not. I can lose graciously as long as it's a fair competition. If you're better than me, that's fine. That's all good.
So do you let me ask you, and just last one on it. Do you cancel out, or if you get 9 points, you get 9? If I get 9 and you get 6, I'm up 3-0. How do you play that?
Only one player can score per round.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, no,
That's
absolutely.
good. Okay, some people play it different.
No, that's the rules of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if someone's playing it differently, then they're wrong.
I'm just glad we're on the same page with that. That would have been really.
I mean, that's like saying 2 + 2 is 4.
Well, it's happened.
2 + 2 is 4.
It's happened to me.
If anyone's saying 2 + 2 is 5, they're wrong.
It's happened to me in a mid game, and it kind of got just.
No,
like,
you got to establish those rules too. It's like
that's smart.
It's like if the weight is on the line, it's the lesser point. It's got to completely clear the line.
Oh no.
Yes,
So
that is the rule of the game, David.
Hold on, wait.
No. I am late. We have to go to a break. We will go to a break. I will show you the rules of this game when we come back from this break.
I can't wait.
It's AFR.
AFR.
Really?
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to do a live read. AFR is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and stop breaking stuff, LaCouture. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Of course, if you've been injured in an accident, like LaCouture falling off of a chair, get Gordon and get it done. Not only has Gordon represented literally tens of thousands of injured people in our state over 30 years, 75,000, more than 75,000, to the tune of $2.6 billion recovered for his clients. But Gordon has done such an amazing job of giving back to the community as well. You can go to GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com, to see all of the many ways that Gordon and his charitable endeavors, the charitable arm of the law firm, gives back to the community. I love talking about the bike giveaway, the bicycle giveaway during the holiday season, and, of course, all the NIL deals as well. You want an autographed football from the G team? Go to GordonGives.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
We're going to get to Jimmy Ott. Otterlocks coming up here in about 6-7 minutes from right now. Going to move a little quickly here. By the way, we got confirmation from Chris Davis, the man himself. The table is uneven.
It is uneven. It is.
And did I not just show you via demonstration that table is uneven?
After further review.
After further review,
it is uneven.
The ruling on the field stands. Excuse me. The ruling on the field is confirmed. The table is uneven.
Guys, I got to say, he had it all laid out. He said it's going to come from right to left. He knew where it was going to happen. I mean, you are right. You are right. I will give credit where it's due. Look. Hey,
you're right.
You are right. I will give you credit.
All right, Saints tonight against Jacksonville. It's Thursday Night Football. I've talked plenty about this game all week long. I told you last Friday when I picked the Texans to beat the Saints. On Thursday, I'm picking the Saints to beat Jacksonville. It's so much about the spot in this ball game. Jacksonville, 11 days in London. They come home, a divisional game against Indianapolis. I thought that would be their letdown spot. It wasn't. They played really well. But now after that short week, you got to travel. When you just look at the history of Thursday Night Football, being the road team, having to travel on a short week is a disadvantage. And it's not just Thursday Night Football. It's Monday Night Football as well. Whenever you have to travel on a short week, you're disadvantaged in the NFL, where the margin is so slim. When you add everything else in there with Jacksonville, it kind of adds up. This game at one point was Jacksonville won. It was a pick 'em. The Saints won. The line has continued to climb. We'll get a pick on the game from Jimmy. I'll tell you, Randy McKay on Jimmy Sports Bettor's Paradise already gave out the under in this game, as did Jimmy. I know Jimmy's on the under. I played it at 40. It's at 41 right now, so it's actually climbing. So
I like that.
A really good number to get it. If you're gonna play the under, that's where you play it. Saints 2 right now is the line that I'm looking at. Let me confirm it at DraftKings that's the line, that's the posted line for tonight. But I do like the Saints. I picked them 21-17. It's kind of one of the clean score. I don't know if the Saints are going to score 3 touchdowns, actually. But something around there is what I think. What do you think?
I think 21-17, 20, right around there. 2017, I think for them it's going to be a low-scoring game. But, I think at the end, if we can kind of establish that run game and kind of milk that clock toward the end, if we can kick a field goal and kind of go home with the win, I think that'd be great.
The total at DraftKings right now is at 41. And it's Saints -2, and the odds on the money line are Saints -130, which is kind of soft. So I mean, if you wanted to make a money line play in New Orleans, you could do that as well. So we'll get to Jimmy, have some Otterlocks coming up for you. It is after further review. It's been a great day, man. We appreciate so much our friends at Mockler for having us here. Bo and Alondra for setting up and make sure everything runs, and of course Muse and Paulie back in studio. Mockler's been a great partner, man. We've loved this relationship and the opportunity to do something really cool like this. No, first time.
I gotta say cheers to that, man.
Cheers to that, brother.
To a great Bud Light, cold Bud Light, man. Appreciate you, Matt. Thank you.
I know it's been, Mockler's been just a great community partner for 40 years, and the opportunity to be able to do really cool things. So we sat the first time I ever came over here, and we all met. We sat in that conference room over there, and Chris talked about us kind of being conjoined, like an extension of each other's brand, and the opportunity to do cool things, and everything we've asked ever, y'all have jumped at the opportunity.
Man, so I'll tell you, Matt. This has been the best opportunity possible in my life, working for Mr. Tim and Mr. Chris, and this company at Mockler Beverage, and having you come together and being a team, and what you do, and us coming together and being a partnership with a really great brand like Bud Light is. It's been a dream come true, and working for you, like I said, man, it's really been an awesome journey for me, and I'm glad you're aboard with us, man.
Yeah, brother. All right. We're going to get to Otterlocks. Before you go, give me a thought on LSU and Army this weekend, a final thought.
Man, I really think, like you were talking about earlier, is I hope we can take care of business. I really, really love the way our offense is playing. They're clicking on all cylinders. We got a great passing game. Logan Diggs has emerged as that running back number 1. And, man, it's been really great to see. Offensive line, we saw, during the week, they're up for the Joe Moore Award mid-season, and obviously well-deserving. Defense, we got to make sure somebody's got to step up. Wing goes out, and I think that's going to be Guillory or Jefferson. Jefferson's been playing really good, so that's been really great to see. You got to have depth on there. So I think for us, we take care of business, go into the bye week. Hopefully we can. I think we'll kind of cover that. I think we'll kind of be at that 30-28 range. So we take care of business there, go into bye week, get everybody healthy, and we're going to Tuscaloosa, man. I mean, look, hey, if we take care of business and do that, and hopefully Ole Miss can slip up somewhere, we're back in the SEC championship, and you never know what can happen.
Man, Ole Miss is going to lose to Georgia. They got to go to Athens.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Ole Miss,
I didn't know that.
Ole Miss may lose this weekend at Auburn. I mean, I know Auburn's offense was atrocious the other night. I also watched Auburn at home give Georgia every damn bit of everything they wanted. Jordan, you played there. Jordan Hare is not an easy place to go try to play.
It's very electric, man.
So Ole Miss could lose this weekend. It wouldn't stun me if they did. So I'm not worried about that. For LSU, you got to go win in Tuscaloosa.
You have to.
So you go win in Tuscaloosa, then you set it up. Can you win home games against Florida and Texas A&M? If you do that, you're back in Atlanta and you're playing for everything. It's a steep hill to climb to say you got to go win in Tuscaloosa and then beat Florida and Texas A&M.
But I really feel, Matt, when we get to that SEC championship game when we play Georgia, I really feel confident with our team compared to last year, where we are this year. I really feel better about where they would be going into that game than we did last year.
Not only LSU's team, but Georgia this year isn't what they were the last 2 years, and they were great. They won the national championship, but they were far and away the best team in college football the last 2 years. It's different. They don't have the receivers on the outside. You obviously have a younger quarterback. You've lost a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. Georgia's great. I mean, we're splitting hairs here about a great team, but yes, they're gettable. They're gettable.
And you lose Brock Bowers for probably the whole year, so that's a huge blow for them as well.
That's a good point. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. Otterlocks, Jimmy will be here. We'll get a pick on Thursday Night Football from Jimmy. You also got some college football tonight and 2 baseball games. You got one game. Forgive me, all, I just have not been following the score live as we have been here. We're looking at Phillies, Diamondbacks, no score.
Wow.
Bottom 6, how about that? No score out there in the desert. So we'll keep you posted on that. And, of course, we got the ALCS tonight as well, so we'll keep you posted. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll do some Otterlocks to wrap up next here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you every single day by our friends over at the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel. We always appreciate our friends over at the Renaissance and the Watermark. By the way, next Wednesday is Oktoberfest at Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. Now, don't think Oktoberfest like the German beer festival. It's just Oktoberfest. They will have beverages from Noel Family Distillery, beer from Rally Cap here in Baton Rouge, great local brew, music from Bryce Broussard. Tickets are available at their website, or if you find the Tallulah social media accounts, you can find the link there as well. We will also have 5 pair of tickets to give away, which we will give away tomorrow and Monday. So if you're interested in winning tickets, you can, or you can go buy your own tickets. Again, Noel Family Distillery, Rally Cap, and food from Tallulah. It'll be a great event there at the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is celebrating Ram Power Days with $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 1500 trucks, $15,000 off, and a 1 million mile warranty. Plus, we'll pay your trade-off regardless of what you owe. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time to slip away. Oh, Louise. like cypress stumps. Your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Of course, you can always learn more. Book or schedule your appointment, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, we're counting down about an hour and a half away from Thursday Night Football, Saints and Jags. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and all the incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing great, man. Over here at the Queen, watching the little Phillies Diamondbacks, getting ready for night football.
Very good, man.
What's the final word, inactive list for T-Law?
Still have not seen the official inactives yet. Otter. I'm a little surprised because we're an hour and 23 minutes away from kick. Let me check one more time here to see if they've posted
Usually
it.
90 minutes in advance. While you're doing that, Colucci gave us the Kraken money line and Colorado Avalanche on the run line -1.5 puck line, I should say.
All right, the Avs on the puck line. All right, Trevor Lawrence officially active for tonight's game. You know, Otter, I heard you and Handy talking about it earlier, and I know Charles's point was like listen to what they're doing, not what they're saying, with Beathard getting all the reps. But I reminded our audience, man, Jameis got all the reps after Carr sprained his AC joint. But they just kept trucking along, and then ultimately he played.
And that was a very big surprise when he played that weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been a I don't know, it's a little bit of gamesmanship by these teams, by these coaches and organizations. But man, I just do not see the reward with the rest. But we'll see. He's going to play. He's not going to be very mobile, but I like the under. I'm not going to lay the points, but I will take the under. We know about the long streak, but this is a bad matchup for the Saints offensive line, which comes in a little undermanned. It's a good front for Jacksonville. And same thing, you know, I think Lawrence, even if he plays and he hurt, he might want to try and get the short, quick stuff underneath. I'm not bucking the trend, and the unders on Thursday night have always been favorable. So if I had to, I think the Saints, but I really do like this under trend to continue 13-2 to the under last week. Going with the Rangers tonight in Game 4 might be like even money coming back over at DraftKings. and in Marshall, getting ready to go right now. Seen as much as 5. Good spot. That's a toss-up game. James Madison comes in as undefeated, so we're going to take the points in Marshall. It's under a curve there.
Go back with the Rangers. We're talking about the Rangers money line tonight.
Line. Yes. Yeah.
Good. I'm looking at the Avalanche. I'm sorry. It's off the board right now at DraftKings. I don't know if there's something going on with that. I was trying to make all the plays, but one of Colucci's plays, the Avs are it's off the board right now.
And, I'll check another one real quick for you if I can, but they'll put it on, Matt. It's a late start, but there may be a key guy, goalie or something like that they're looking at right now. But let me see what I'm looking at. Where are we? Oh my goodness.
And Otter, just real quick, I'm also looking at Marshall. Marshall's down to 3.5. It's Marshall plus 3.5. Would you still take the 3.5?
Yes, I would. It's 4.5 as I speak over here at the Queen, the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Okay.
And it was, and I got 5. Just 20 minutes.
1 minute remaining.
It's going down, but before it goes to that 3, obviously some respected money coming in pretty late on the, on the Avalanche minus 1.5, minus 140 at some other places right now.
Okay. All right, Otter. Tomorrow, Ruffino's.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
Ruffino's early. Richard Dixon comes in and starts it off. Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris and Edward Jones Investments at 10 a.m. Doors open up at 11. Come on by and see it.
What an awesome time of year, man. Otter, we appreciate you as always. Good luck tonight. We'll talk. I guess we'll probably talk on Monday.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, be well. We appreciate the Otter. We appreciate our friends here at Mockler for hosting us. Our winner for our AFR watch party, him and his crew will be here soon, and we're going to have a good night. We'll watch the Saints hopefully get a win tonight over Jacksonville. Muse, Paulie back in studio. Appreciate you fellas. Alondra Bowe here on site. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great night. Who dat? We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Tell you every single day, if you need to buy tires, why would you go anywhere other than the place that's going to sell you tires at the best price possible? It's Shawbills. They've been in business for more than 50 years. They opened up their doors back in 1968, 55 years in business now. And if you're thinking about tires, if you need tires, go to the place where they're going to treat you like family and where they're going to sell you the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. I know I say this often, but go to the website or the app and hit the promotions tab, and you'll see all of the specials that they have and how they work so hard to blend the manufacturer's offer with their own in-house offer to make sure you're getting the best price possible. As a matter of fact, they guarantee it. You buy tires at Shawbills, find them advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll pay you 125% of the difference. It's Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.